If you've ever not been able to work or make a phone call because the power and all the phones were out, you'd be my producer. But also go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button, folks, because we're back. It's Tuesday, April 29th. We're going to attack these markets again. Benzinga's pre-market playbook is going to get you all set up for the day here. Then we're going to trade a little bit. And of course, it is the return of Anne Marie after our show here today. So we are going to have some fun today. Benzinga's pre-market playbook for Tuesday, April 29th starts right now. Good morning and welcome back, folks. It's great to see a whole bunch of returning faces. Let's get ready for the day, but not before we say hello to everybody. Alim, good morning. It's great to see you. Jay Rice. Whoa, we've got Jay Rice in here early today. You absolutely love it. Hims is popping, NVO also popping here. So we've got some news here in the weight loss GLP-1 sector, and that is affecting some of the stocks. If you're long Hims, congrats, because you're going to have a good morning here. It looks like we're definitely going to cover those. Good morning, Jay. It's great to see you. Pete, locked in. Good morning. Great to see you again as well. Azrar, good morning. Brett, good morning. Sun-kissed Yogi, good morning. Lion, checking in early. Good morning. Mama Bear is here. Good morning. Warm and windy. Tell you what, it is warm here in Chicago. It was humid all night. My AC ran all night for the first time in a long time since last year, frankly. So it is warm here. Jim, good morning. Chuck, good morning. Austin, producer. We're glad to have you back, producer. What a day yesterday. Yeah, by the way, Novo here up 3.2%. Hims here up 40%. Is that right? It's on CNBC. Hims is up 40%. Oh, you folks had calls. Today is going to be a good day for you on that one. I was not in Hims, but we're going to cover it. Don't worry about that. Bernhard, welcome back. Gringo, good morning. What's going on with Hims? As we just covered, partnering with Novo Nordisk to add Wegovy to its platform. So that's what's going on with Hims. That's why it's absolutely popping here. Day Trader, good morning. Quantum, good morning. Lau Lion, you're up early because you're on the road to Chattanooga, Tennessee. Okay, we'll take that. Brett, Sergeant Sexy, James, good morning, good morning, good morning. JJ, Ed, Eric, Harris, Crimp Biscuit, Kayla, Wiss, Big Bees, Topher. Let's go. Good morning, everybody. Hope that you all had a wonderful Monday, whether it was playoff hockey or playoff basketball that you watched. Hopefully you had a good one last night. Okay, let's go ahead and load up the chart. We're going to start with SPY here, and then we can probably just go right into Hims. We'll just do a detour here and cover the news. Here's where the SPY sits. Now, again, we're pretty much in the same area that we were yesterday. What I talked about yesterday absolutely held up, and we're going to see maybe another test of that here today. Maybe we'll see some resolution of that here today. Just to kind of recap, we had bounced pretty nicely off this 500-day moving average here. We traded up to the 10% pullback level. We were simply not strong enough to get above that, close above that at all. We did peak above that yesterday on that with that candle. Actually traded above that level, could not hold above that level. Today, we find ourselves right beneath it here. 550.65, 550.57 is your current price here in the after hours. 551.91 is going to be that level there exactly. Let's just call it 552. I expect us to challenge this level again. The same thing holds true yesterday. If we're able to close above that level, giddy up. If we're able to move above that level and maybe test the 50-day moving average, which is at 559.70, that could also be next year. S&P futures here this morning, they were flattish earlier, down 0.08%. Dow futures up 0.35%, and the NASDAQ futures down 0.2. So we have kind of a mixed batch of indices here ahead of the open, but this SPY really kind of setting up here to test this 552 level. Again, holding here at 550.63 in the pre-market. The good news here on the backside, we do have the trend line that should give us support if we stay above that trend line, and we have the 20-day moving average that we also want to stay above. So we'll see if we're able to do that here today. So far, button up against 552 on the SPY. Okay, let's just dive right into HIMS. How about that? So here you go. So first of all, oh man, look what we drew. First of all, this is what we drew on the daily chart, folks. Here's the news. Thank you, producer. Him and Hers Health shares are trading higher after the company announced a collaboration with Novo Nordisk and offered a bundled package of all those strengths of Wegovy on its platform. Here's the daily chart. You can see we had a broadening triangle here that was pretty good. We had a potential head and shoulders, kind of a big head and shoulders here on this daily chart. And look what's happening today. Oh my goodness. We are popping into that shoulder. I'm going to leave this on and see if we actually fill out this right shoulder, because we could be setting up here for a potential head and shoulders pattern. But let's stick with the news here today. HIM's absolutely rocketing. The stock closing at what? About $28 yesterday. $28.50 yesterday. We printed $42.50 right up against what is this drawing here on the screen? What is that? Oh, that's the excuse me, that's the shoulder. Well, we traded up, just massive move up. Again, anyone that's got this yesterday or has any position on this, today's a day to trim. Absolutely. You want to trim some of it, leave some for a run in case this keeps going. I totally get it. But oh my gosh, a 40% move here. Pretty huge. Let's see if there was anything else in this news. I don't really think there's anything else here. We'll see if anything else comes out about this. But basically, you can now get Wegovy on HIMS, is what this means. More access to that, looking pretty good. HIMS is the big winner here, but NVO also trading up here today. NVO had a pretty interesting chart area. We were holding just above this support area. You can see we actually did come in here recently. We tested the top end of this consolidation area. This goes all the way back to 2021 through 2022. So we actually use that as a support. Now we've got this news catalyst here, NVO up 4% here today. Frankly, if we zoom in here, you can see exactly what we're doing. We're taking out that 20-day moving average, giddy up. Let's see if we can close above that, maybe trade up towards this 50-day moving average, which is the yellow line. Got that at 74.13. So nice little move here for NVO. HIMS clearly the big winner. If we turn the volume on, you can see there's still some pretty good volume. The other thing that's pretty good here, MACD, RSI, Williams percent R, none of these readings really seem overbought or anything. So we should be all right there for a potential trade here. Let's go back and check on HIMS. Same deal here. We got more room to move. We got more room to move here. The other thing I wanted to check here on him is, what was that recent short reading? I thought so. 31.03% of its float shorted on ticker HIMS, 2.48 days to cover. So you might actually have some squeeze potential here today too, given that the news is so great. On average, stock trades 25.5 million. We've already traded 13.5 million, and we got what, a good hour and 20 minutes before the market even opens. I think we're going to trade higher than average volume here today. Float of 180 million. Be interesting to see if we get any re-ratings. That might be the other piece of this, right? So we're getting a pop here today. We'll see if that leads to any type of squeeze action here today. But the other thing to note, maybe later today, tomorrow morning, we could see some price target adjustments. We could see some new initiations, maybe an upgrade or two. That could really kind of change things for HIMS. That would also really kind of help the squeeze trade go along here. So, all right, let's see. What are you guys doing? Gary, good morning. Yasso, fine. Graph, anyone else I missed? Lion is in HIMS. Big B's in HIMS. James in HIMS. Looks like we got a lot of people. Maverick, White Chocolate Mocha, good morning. Endarina, that's a pretty name. Good morning. Jay, good morning. Harris, I think Tweets Talk. Spot, if you can. Spotify, yes, they missed earnings. Harris, let me go ahead and add Spot to the list of stocks that we're going to take a look at today. Thank you for the suggestion. Good morning, Tyler. Good morning, Rafat. Okay, James saying time to replace puts, though. I'm long holding HIMS. Time to replace puts. So, James, it sounds like you're getting a huge move here. You might actually reverse that trade. Let us know what you decide on there. HIMS holding 37 3/4 as we speak right now in the pre-market. So bang, bang, bang. Sebastian, good morning. It's great to see you. Palantir wants to get discussed. We're going to have Red Dog on today. We're going to have Red Dog on from T3. We might ask him about some of these stocks here today as well. So really good stuff. Michael DeSoto says the Magic 8 Ball was wrong yesterday. So if you are keeping notes out there, since we started tracking, if you will, the Magic 8 Ball is 0 for 1. Who would have thought that the Magic 8 Ball was wrong? Michael, appreciate that. I actually forgot we did that. So that was a really good reminder there. Okay. HIMS, probably the big mover of the day here. Again, grats to anyone that held this yesterday. If you're going to trade this here today, let's not chase it. Let's see if we get any type of predictable trading action. We'll look at some of the technicals on the chart. I'm sure this is going to be on the scanner. Shout out to the Benzinga Pro scanner. By the way, we sometimes talk about how some of this stuff works. Hey, how do you guys pick and choose? How do you guys identify things? Well, I was going through my note sheet here, getting some news stories ready, and I glanced over at my scanner and I saw HIMS flashing. So when I clicked on it, I saw, oh my goodness, what's going on here? It's a Benzinga Pro scanner here, even before I knew the news, alerted me to the movement here on HIMS. So, okay. Good stuff there. Let's go ahead and roll through some of that news. SoFi being added here. SoFi also reported earnings here today. That was trading higher. Yes, absolutely. Let's cover that. Good morning, Zhu, or Zoo, however I'm supposed to pronounce that. Sorry for getting it wrong. Cranky Buzzard, that's a pretty awesome name, wants to take a look at Pony, which is Pony AI. That's been one of our movers recently. We can absolutely take a look at that. Gringo saying I took profits yesterday on Tesla and YOLO'd 14K into HIMS. Oh, today, this is a good week for you. Make sure you trim that position, ring some of that register. Cheers, mate, because that was a good trade. That's going to work out for you. Okay, let me go back to the big chart tool here. Let's start with our favorite types of stories. Yeah, you know it. Trump and tariffs, because I know that the group is not tired of this stuff yet. Donald Trump will reduce impact on U.S. automakers by easing some auto tariffs. Autonomous officials, boy, that would be something. Autonomous officials. That's we don't have the Biden administration anymore. Anonymous officials from the White House told the Wall Street Journal on Monday that car manufacturers paying the tariffs wouldn't be charged on materials like aluminum and steel, and tariffs already paid on these materials would be reimbursed to the manufacturers. Quote, the deal is a major victory for the president's trade policy by rewarding companies who manufacture domestically, while providing runway to manufacturers who have expressed their commitment to invest in America and expand their domestic manufacturing, end quote. That came from Howard Lutnick, U.S. Commerce Secretary, via an official White House statement. Officials from the Trump administration shared that the move could be implemented on Tuesday. The report added, the president is also expected to visit Michigan, home to General Motors, Ford, and Stellantis, to mark the 100 days in office. The president's administration's decision to provide some exemptions in the tariffs on the auto sector has been teased by the president recently. He also said that automakers, quote, need a little time, end quote, to adjust to the new tariff environment that Trump was, quote, looking for something to help, end quote, for the automakers. Michigan-based auto groups that previously criticized the Trump administration for auto tariffs, saying that the move would cast uncertainty over employees and its supply chain. Michigan's signature industry and supply chains and employees that sustain it will continue to endure the uncertainty and disruption of these fluctuating trade policies. The auto industry in the U.S. currently faces uncertainty over the supply chain, which has been described as complex by companies, as the tariffs would cost the domestic auto sector over $108 billion. Remember, the Auto Workers Association, the UAW, loved this, praised it. heralded it even. However, the move could boost the sector, especially the Detroit-based automakers like General Motors and Ford, as recently ratings agency S&P shared the companies that were at risk of receiving a negative rating in light of the 25% tariffs. So we'll see here how this does for GM and Ford. Tesla was actually down here in the pre-market on this, but still higher than yesterday's close. So we'll see how Tesla does here today. Guess we'll take a quick look at some of these charts here real quick. We're going to start with General Motors. The last time that we took a look at the General Motors chart, it was very similar to what we were looking at for the regular session, for the broader market. We were looking for a stock that was going to trade up, maybe break its downtrend, maybe start a new trend here. And General Motors seems to have done the early work required to do that. We did take out the 20-day moving average. As you can see, we've taken out the trend line here. We are having a battle with the 50-day. We got one close above it, but that's it. We really are going to need 3 closes above this to really get going. We do have the 100 kind of converging with the 200 there, right at about $49. That, to me, the next obvious target here, frankly, if we continue to trade back up. Upside target 49, downside target right here about 45.5. That's going to line up with the 9-day moving average as well as the trend line that we just spent some time getting over. GM shares trading lower after the company postponed its earnings call and said its initial full year 25 guidance does not contemplate the potential impact of tariffs. That stock's down here about 0.5% here this morning. Okay. That's where we're at with GM. Let's take a look at the Ford chart real quick. Here you go. Ford, this has been a really rough go. I'll tell you what, for those people that, want to see Ford stock higher, it's been a rough go. For a while, Ford was actually doing a pretty good channel trade, meaning it was, you could see right here, I actually don't have the channel drawn here anymore, but for a while, it was just oscillating back in that channel. We have started to leak out of the bottom of this channel. If you own Ford, I think the smart decision here is to sell upside calls against it, lower your cost basis, collect a premium simply for holding the stock alongside the dividend. And then if it makes a move higher, you'll be able to have those shares called away at a profit, hopefully. This is kind of how I would look at Ford here. Kind of a slow, more boring trade. But again, we'll see if that changes here with some of the news that is affecting these companies pretty substantially. Okay. Enough of cars for right now. How much time do we got? We got plenty of time before we get T3, before we get Red Dog on here. More news here with Domino's and DoorDash. Domino's is, quote, fine with DoorDash, eyes full national rollout for Q2. CEO says Pizza Giant's strategy is to meet customers where they are. Hey, I guess if you want to have a Domino's pizza delivered to your beach towel, you can do that now. Quick service restaurant chain Domino's Pizza confirmed its newly announced partnership with DoorDash for a nationwide rollout beginning in May, followed by an expansion into Canada later in the year. By the way, Canadian election, I guess, is over. Mark Carney winning, the Liberal Party resuming power there in Canada. We'll see how that affects all of the different moving cogs in the global trade scenario here. On Monday, during the restaurant chain's first quarter earnings call, the management discussed its recent partnership with DoorDash, which was announced at the beginning of this month. After testing across a small number of stores, it now plans a nationwide rollout starting in May, which is set to complete towards the end of the second quarter. The company expects this to have a sizable impact on top-line growth during the second half of the year. Okay, interesting. According to Domino's CEO Russell Leaner, 50% of orders from DoorDash are expected to be incremental, which means half of the orders coming from the platform will be new and not cannibalizing current sales. This is always something that's talked about when they talk about DoorDash with some of these pizza chains that do their own deliveries. CEO here saying it's not going to cannibalize sales. This is basically going to make it easier for a higher cohort of customers to order food. It'll be interesting to see if that works out here. If customers want to buy on DoorDash, it's because their natural behavior on that platform, and we're fine with that. Leaner says, adding that DoorDash will have 2x the contribution of Uber Eats. with which Domino's has been working with since 2023, contributing 3% to the company's sales in 2024. The company believes this move will help its rural and suburban stores, just as Uber Eats helped it penetrate deeper into underserved urban regions. Leaner says, quote, our strategy for aggregators has been to meet customers where they are, whichever app they are on. The company, however, says it will continue to retain its delivery drivers and will not expand delivery zones, a decision aimed at preserving product quality. Additionally, its loyalty program remains exclusive to purchases made directly through its existing platform. That one's going to be key. I don't do a lot of food ordering for delivery because I'm cheap. And frankly, if I order for somewhere close, I either A, want to drive my car, or B, want to walk to get some steps in. So for me, I'm always trying to do the pickup here itself. So I'm not as familiar with all of this. And, you know, I know people order from this a lot. But it seems to me that that's pretty big. If you can't get reward points, I'm not sure that you're going to go that way. I know a bunch of my buddies that have some of their favorite restaurants. They're a member of all of those reward programs, and ordering from them and not getting bonus points really doesn't seem palatable. Anyway, despite being a holdout against third-party delivery apps for years, the company decided to give in after its same-store sales continued to lag during its recent fourth quarter earnings release. So that right there, if they're saying that their sales or their same-store sales are lagging a bit, then that tells me that these delivery apps are indeed disruptors, because the pizza industry is one that's been doing deliveries for before there was a smartphone or apps. Now it looks like they're kind of being disrupted. The customer seems to like having the choice of where they're going to order from the same app. There's obviously deals through the app, Uber One, the whole thing, all of that stuff. So very interesting to see how this is changing. The same lackluster same-store sales figures were reported during its first quarter results on Monday, but the company projects a 3% growth in same-store sales for the full year, partly due to these strategic initiatives. Here's the bet. We'll see if this plays out. Domino's COO Joe Jordan recently said that third-party delivery platforms represent a $1 billion opportunity for the company. Quote, tapping into incremental customers, particularly in the suburban and rural markets, is a meaningful opportunity for Domino's. Okay, let's take a look at the Domino's chart then. This thing's been an absolute monster for a long time. The chart here, at least to my eye, it sure looks like this thing wants to curl and trade up. Sure does, right? Looks like it really used that 500-day as some pretty good support. I know we've had some crosses here recently with the 50 and the 200, but they seem to be pretty condensed, so maybe there's not a whole lot we can take from that. I guess we did get a golden cross recently. Sure looks to me like this level right here, this $500 round level, the psychological level, if you will, this one's going to be important. And I would not even be shocked if this comes into play today. We're sitting here at 490 here in the pre-market, down just over 0.1%. I would be completely unsurprised if 500 comes into play here on Domino's. Some levels beneath this that we'd really want to watch. We really would not want to break yesterday's candle. That would be a shame. Bottom of that candle down here, 471. That would also be one of your key levels that I would say. Okay, Ford is great. Dividend-paying beast, says Rafat. Rafat, this is also why that strategy of selling upside calls against your stock might be something palatable. It's a way to kind of charge those dividends up. You get to collect that premium and as well as the dividend there. So that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, I'll be honest, you folks from Canada, I don't actually follow Canadian politics, so I don't really have, and I don't live there, so I don't really have an opinion on the whole thing. I did read that all of the ballots are paper and hand counted, and I was told not long ago that was a threat to democracy here in this country. Yet you guys seem to be doing it fine. Go figure. I'd make a pizza sandwich before I ordered Domino's, says Buffalo by Bicycle. I don't eat this junky chain pizza. I'm a Chicago person, and yeah, it's true. Some of us are a bit snobby about our pizza, but when you have really good pizza, sometimes it's hard to go back. I'm with you on that, Buffalo. With you on that completely here. People waste so much money on food delivery. I never use it. Day trader, thank God for that comment, because I always thought that maybe I'm the cheap bastard. I'm the outlier here because I never really seem to want to order delivery. I'd rather just go pick it up myself. It does kind of seem like a waste. Now, there are times where you're laid up or you have to do it, and I get that. But if given the choice, I'm definitely somebody that wants to go use the heel toe express and go pick it up myself, it seems. So anyway, okay. Oh, good point on the rewards. I use the rewards app also. See, that's what I'm saying. Like a lot of, even myself, like for example, Lou Malnati's, a pizza place that I do order. I use the Lou Malnati's app. I accrue a whole bunch of rewards. I think I've got enough for like a free pizza and some wings. I use the app. I would never say to myself, okay, I'm going to get Lou Malnati's for whatever event I'm going to do here today. And because I'm busy, I'm going to have it delivered. So I'm going to use DoorDash or Uber Eats. Like that would never happen, right? It would never happen. I would simply go to the app itself. I'd collect the rewards points. I'd do my order. And if I had to have it delivered, I'd have it delivered. So it'll be interesting. Again, I'm not sure how this is going to shake out here with Domino's. Sounds like the C-suite executive think that there's a $1 billion opportunity here and should increase same-store sales. If that happens, we're not at peak earnings yet. This stock should go higher. Maybe we challenge this 543 or maybe even the all-time high up here at 556. Looking at this chart here, gosh, we're in a pretty good trend, aren't we? Man, oh man, this thing, like I said, this stock's an absolute monster. It looks like it does have maybe some more room to go up here. All right, really good comments here. When I can no longer drive, I might get delivery then. There you go, Jane. And I would be the same way. Like if I can't drive for any reason, yeah, I'll probably do that. Smita saying deliveries are expensive. Agree with you. Okay, good. I'm not the only one. I was worried I was going to be the only one saying that. Oh my gosh, you folks are making me feel way better, way better. Anne Marie says Ryan deserves way more likes than what we have. Folks, I know you might be tired of listening to me, and that's okay. I'm going to keep trying to make it fun, and I'm going to keep trying to keep you on your toes. But if nothing else, listen to Anne Marie. Please, 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 please. Like the stream. It really helps. It's free. It's easy. And it helps us grow here and measure our success. Anne-Marie, I really appreciate all of the support that you give us on a regular basis. Strategically Optimistic is saying, be snobby, Ryan. Look, about pizza, you better believe it. You could add coffee to that list as well. We're saying, Ryan, do you like Pequod's Pizza? Just had some delivered from Gold's Bellies. I can't even believe somebody else knows what Pequod's is. Pequod's Pizza is the best pizza in the world, period. Hands down, the discussion is over. There's no pizza from New York that can even touch this pizza. Pequod's is, without a doubt, the best I've ever had. The only issue is that it's not as easy to get in the Chicagoland area as Lou Malnati's. So that's why I don't talk about it. The caramelized cheese on the crust is otherworldly, and if you haven't had it or you haven't enjoyed an evening with friends and family at Pequod's, what are you even doing? I don't know the answer to that. This is the best pizza in the world, and I will fight anyone on that. Fight anyone on that, especially you, Izzy. Just kidding. Yeah, and producer, I was worried about this. When I saw the Domino's story on the list this morning, I was like, oh no. I'm going to be hungry for pizza by 9 o'clock in the morning, and no good comes of that when that's the case. So, all right. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see if we do pizza here today. Okay, next story here is going to be more tariff stuff. Get ready to get mad. Right? Get ready to get mad. More tariff news here. Amazon marquee shopping event could see fewer deals and less inventory as third-party sellers retreat amid rising import costs. Some Amazon sellers are pulling out of Prime Day 2025 and scaling back discounts in response to the steep tariffs imposed by President Trump on goods imported from China. Reuters reported on Monday, citing 4 merchants and 6 consultants advising hundreds of sellers. Boy, I get my data from 4 total sellers on a site of millions and millions of sellers too. Yeah, that's awesome. The tariffs, which jumped to 145% earlier this month, have significantly increased costs for merchants who rely on Chinese manufacturing. There's also a report here that they're going to show what the price difference is because of the tariffs. I say this is great. This is great. There was someone in this chat a couple of days ago, maybe a week ago, saying, I have enough Chinese shit that's cheap and garbage. And you know what, brother? You are correct. Me too. Show me that. If it's a cheap item that has its price massively increased because of tariffs, I'll look for something else. No problem. So I welcome this entire thing here. For sellers like Steve Green, who imports bicycles and skateboards, the added expense have made Prime Day participation financially unviable. He instead plans to sell his inventory later at full price. Kim Vaccarella, CEO of Bog Bag, what the hell is Bog Bag? A Chinese-made tote bag company, has decided to skip Prime Day while exploring manufacturing options in Cambodia and Vietnam. That makes sense. Prime Day is one of Amazon's biggest sale events, generating $14.2 billion in the U.S. spending last year, the report added, citing Adobe Analytics. While Amazon told the publication that it has seen strong interest from sellers for this year's event, consultants say many sellers are making tough decisions and uncertainty. Be interesting to see if any sellers change some of their products away from their Chinese origins or not. Previously, it was reported that third-party sellers on Amazon and Walmart are reportedly moving inventory to Canada, hoping that the trade tensions will ease in the near future. We'll see if this has any impact on Amazon. I'll be honest with you, I'm skeptical. I would say that some of these Prime Days are almost sell the news events to begin with. Not really the greatest catalyst for an upside move in a stock. Izzy, I'm glad to see you here earlier in the morning here today. What do you think about this news? What do you think about Prime Day? Do you trade Amazon pretty regularly around Prime Day? Oh, and Anne-Marie, maybe we need to set up a new trade on Amazon. It's been a hot minute since we've set up a trade here on Amazon, hasn't it? Okay. We might have to set that one up. We will see how that goes here. Amazon, taking a look at the chart here, we actually recently had a death cross. We'll see if that materializes here. The stock is making higher lows while holding its 500. It looks like we do have a potential test of those two moving averages coming here soon. Okay. All right. Luca says the real best pizza is only from my place in Naples, Italy, where it was invented. So I've actually heard this. I've heard that Italian pizza is just otherworldly here. It's full disclosure. I've never been to Italy. I've had a couple of friends that have. They say it's amazing. Of course, they make it with ingredients that aren't treated with chemical or with food ingredients that have Roundup sprayed on them. So a lot of people don't feel sick after it. Luca, I will take your word for it on this one. At some point, I will get over there and I will absolutely try the pizza. Look, even bad pizza is still pizza. So it's not actually even really bad. And going straight to the source in Italy, sign me up for that. Wiz saying pizza in Italy hits different. Not even shocked about that. Uno is the best pizza place in Chicago. Judge, this is a really good mention. It is really good. It's hard to get there. It's not really somewhere that you can pick up from unless you're downtown. The wait can sometimes be 2 hours outside of the actual pizza joint. I still give Pequod's the slight edge, but Uno is a really good mention there. That is a really good mention. Okay. Prime Day is like Black Friday. It's overrated now. Thank you, Izzy. I kind of discovered the same thing over the last couple of Prime Days here, thinking that maybe we could trade that. It doesn't seem to be all that great. Jane is asking, does anyone hate Amazon as much as me? Hate's a strong word there, Jane. So I would say no, probably not. I don't. I still use it. Still use it all the time. And I especially really like the Prime Video, just because I use that on so many different devices. But anyway, I digress here. Okay. When we're still waiting for Red Dog, hopefully everything is okay here. Let me actually send a note real quick. Okay, we'll get to him as soon as he joins, but I did want to cover Apple here real quick. Apple Q2 will be, quote, better than feared, end quote. Analyst says as the iPhone company has a proven track record. Who agrees with this? How many of you think Apple is going to have a better than expected print That would be interesting. That's something that maybe we should do a poll on, producer. You let me know if you can throw that together. An Apple analyst says that results will be, quote, better than feared, end quote, when the technology giant reports its second quarter financial results on Thursday. The Apple analyst, JP Morgan analyst Samik Chatterjee, I probably mispronounced his name, but it's a sweet name, and I hope that I didn't screw it up, maintained an overweight rating on Apple with a $245 price target. That's interesting here. Apple here is currently sitting at $210 in the pre-market. Chatterjee said in a new investor note that fears of demand disruption and cost headwinds from tariffs on China could weigh on Apple stock ahead of quarterly earnings. Quote, we are positive on Apple shares with a near-term view into a positive setup into earnings with the likelihood of better than feared outcomes in relation to both revenues and gross margins. The analyst expects a modest pull forward in demand thanks to consumer upgrades and channel inventory fill. Chatterjee said revenue will likely be stronger than expected in the second quarter and momentum could carry over into the third quarter. Expect Apple to guide to low single-digit, mid-single-digit revenue growth for the third quarter, he said. The analyst sees lower downside risk for the full financial year than investors expected. Tariffs remain a significant uncertainty, but Apple's history could overcome the weakness. That's something that we've been saying here for some time, that is likely to happen. Quote, the resilience of revenue and earnings estimates, as well as a proven track record of earnings protection in downturns, remains key to investors still looking at Apple shares favorably. Despite the uncertainty, almost ran out of breath there. Chatterjee said that the company's earnings and guidance could show Apple's resilience in the face of tariff worries and the macro environment. Services growth, AI opportunities, and the new iPhone 17 cycle are catalysts that provide, quote, limited downside risks over the medium term. The only thing here that I disagree with, I'm not sure how much the Apple intelligence or the Apple AI, whatever they want to call it here, I'm not sure how much of that is actually, a potential boon here or a potential bullish thing for Apple. I don't know. Their AI is just not great. So we'll see if that does provide an opportunity. I do think this iPhone, though, the iPhone cycle is going to outperform. And I think that many people were scared away with channel checks, and I'm just not sure that that's going to hold up here, to be quite honest with you. Let's take a look at Apple's chart real fast, kind of get a footing for where we're at. See, I'd love to hear if anyone's got trades. I'd especially love to hear if anyone is planning on trading this for the earnings here. Definitely looking forward to that. A big time shout out to our happy hour group. We were so close. Bernhard, we were talking about a 155 to 165 support area here for Apple. Boy, oh boy, we were off by $2.20. $2.20. We were off by almost had that pretty much pegged to the dollar there. Apple has bounced pretty significantly. We'll see if the lows are in. I know that this is a conversation that's been kind of going around there. Some folks don't want to talk about it because that means that, I won't even get into it. Maybe the bottom is in here. We'll see. Apple, the keynote for me here is that the high of the candle here from April 14th, let me see what value that is here. That high is 212.94. You got a gap up to 221. If you take out that 212.94, we just got a 235 target here. And remember, that target coming ahead of earnings, that analyst is saying, well, I'm not going to wait for them to report and then pretend that I knew all along that I was right and blame it on the company. I'm going to go ahead and put my rating out ahead of earnings. That to me is always a bit more notable. We'll see if Chatterjee is correct or not. Here's what I have on Apple. Again, we did recently have a death cross. We did move down after that death cross, but that was in the tariff mania where we were having the back and forth and the big power candle. It does look like this is trying to resolve higher here. It's done a really good job staying above 200 and its 500-day, the $200 level and its 500-day moving average. We'll see if we have enough strength to pop up, take out that 50, and then maybe the 200. That would be next here on Apple. Okay. How many of you want to track Cathie Wood? The reason I threw this story on the list here today is because It's a lot of stocks that you folks take a look at all the time. Palantir, Meta, AMD, some of the space stocks that we talk about here all of the time. Hood, right? Robinhood. Lots of stocks that you folks trade on a regular basis here. So I figured we might as well cover it here. Kathy Wood chops Palantir. Woo. The register there on Palantir, and ARK Invest dumps 9.1 million worth of stock. Also sold Meta and Robinhood shares. So we'll get to this. We'll get to this here in a second, but it is Tuesday and it is past 8:30. So it is time for our special guest. We're going to go ahead and bring on Red Dog from T3 Trading. Put your hands together. Let's go ahead and see how he's doing. All right, Red Dog, it's great to see you again. How you doing, my man? How's your spring going?
Spring is good. It's really nice when the weather gets nice, right? You get to, instead of doing everything inside, you get to go run outside, run in the reservation, go in the mountains, get some elevation, be one with nature, listen to some birds, and just kind of like get your roots in place, right? So I love it.
I love it. We also got playoff sports, which I love. I think you're a Knicks fan. What do you think's going to happen here?
I don't know. All I know is Brunson is friggin' a tank. He is the strongest guy. Like, my son is an AU basketball player, and we were watching it together. We had a tournament this weekend. We were having Red Dog sandwiches at the Standard. And by the way, I do have a sandwich. We can get into that later. And Brunson goes out. He can't even walk, and then he comes back and he's hitting, like, he's going through guys 6'7", 7-footers. He's hitting, like, it's like, wow. Mind over matter.
I'll tell you what, that kid is tough as nails. When I saw that happen, I thought, oh no, the Knicks were done. Then I saw him come back, and I was like, nope, not yet.
I wonder what they shot. I wonder what they shot in his leg.
I can't wait to have a Red Dog sandwich. You're gonna have to tell me about that. Let's talk about some stocks here first. Did you want to share your charts?
Sure, let's do it. Let me figure out how to do that for a second here. Red Dog's an old dog, but I've learned how to do this.
I was going to say, this old dog has learned plenty of new tricks. That ain't no thing at all. Here you go. Here are the charts here. What are you starting off with? I got some questions, but what do you got starting off with the SPY here?
Yeah, just real quick. Obviously we've had a big move from the lows. Like last week, we put a higher low in at 508. I wasn't that bullish, to be honest. When we put that higher low in, it felt like we were going back to retest the lows. And then the next day, we had a gap up and we took out that prior high. And right there, I feel like Netflix showed its face that it could actually go higher. Some of the other tech names look good. And I started to put on a bunch of positions, Palantir, Reddit, some of them. And then you had a gap up. You could have been long versus that. And then PS, yesterday was decent. I feel like, a lot of people were expecting some kind of deal over the weekend, whether it was Japan, whether it was India. So some shorts were nervous. And PS, we had nothing. And we still kind of held in here. So my thought is, I feel like there's another 1 to 1.5% of upside if they want to keep this pain trade a little bit higher, because I feel like the pain trade's higher now.
Okay.
But then I do feel like the next 3-4%, once we get to that area, wherever that is, could be to the downside once the reality really hits of, what these tariffs are doing to the quarters ahead, because these companies are really not saying much. They're having a good quarter this quarter, and they're like kind of keeping quiet about the next quarter or two. They don't need, it's like, shh, you don't need to say anything, guys. Just let the market continue to do it. Like Google, had a great quarter. They didn't say anything, and it didn't really go anywhere. But, we'll see what happens with the big ones coming out this week as far as, is it solid enough, and do they just keep their mouth closed and we go up, or do they have a solid report and, and they waste it because they're going to talk about the unknowns of the next 3 to 6 months.
So I know the charts don't say this, but do you think any of these companies might be just kind of dialing back or saying, hey, we're not going to give guidance, or we're going to give 2 sets of guidance like United Airlines did? Do you think that they're doing this to kind of wait out some of this trade negotiation thing?
Yeah, I think that'd be smart. Like, why,
Me too.
They don't need to be heroes here and say, well, we're going to guide lower because maybe these stick. Screw it. Nobody's saying anything. Don't say anything. Let give us more time to play some of these things, before we could maybe get short from higher levels. And, a lot of these stocks are nowhere. It's like here, like I bought Meta yesterday. We'll talk about some earnings. I bought Meta a little bit of a call spread yesterday. I'm like, you know what? From 740 through 7.25 all the way down, it's nowhere. I'm like, why can't this get to 590? Right? 590, 600. So I bought what I buy? I bought a 570. What I buy? A Meta, a 570 by 595 call spread. So I'm not really asking for a ton, and I'm only risking $6 to make like 19. Could we have like an inline report a little better than fear?
Mhm.
Don't say too much. And the stock, you could be 590 and you're still well off of there. So I'm trying to find some things that, I'm not asking too much for, or I just don't have to be in them because again, I feel like last earnings season, it was really hard to make money, with option plays. Even if you were right, there was so much premium. But, I feel like we've been able to make money post earnings plays. Like, let's go to Tesla for a second. Like Tesla, you really didn't even have to be in it post numbers. The numbers are obviously horrible. You had to
We
be
knew
prepared
that.
to know that, like,
Yeah.
Musk doing a week at Doge will be good because he'll be focused on Tesla. And then PS, this was your earnings move. Like, I think right here. And then this was your day after. All you had to do is buy versus 244, close strong. And then look at this move. You didn't have to take, crazy inflated
Yep.
plays into it. And now I'm still in some Tesla. I think that there's a good chance it can get towards 3.25 if the market holds in there. Right now, I think Tesla, if you could see what it looks like, I think it's up small. Oh, it's up $1.50 now. That's good.
Yeah, it's actually coming up off the lows here in the pre-market on some pretty substantial volume here. So it'll be interesting to see how this opens. It's also, maybe that's one, I can't tell on your chart there, but it is about to kind of test that 200-day moving average. I'd love to get some closes above that thing.
Yeah, if this closes above 295, I think it opens the door for 320. I'd love to be able to buy something high and sell it higher. We haven't had a lot of that in the last month. It's been, buy versus a level and go up, and try and stay with it. So
hold your nose and buy is what we've been in here, folks. Trade the lead up to the aftermath of the Fed meeting live with Scott Redler, Red Dog here, totally free, May 5th through 9th. Links in the chat. QR code is at the top of the screen. Red Dog, how about the Qs? How about the Qs in the IWM? You got any charts or any thoughts on those right now?
Qs are just like the SPY. Yes, you know what? Yes, it was interesting. Again, I think I had like 12, like not 12, I had a bunch of positions on, and like Sunday night, the futures are down 27 handles because there were no trade ink deals.
Mm-hmm.
But at least they didn't trap you yesterday. Like they didn't like open the market down and just like, make you, make choices on whether you wanted to sit in stuff or not. Yesterday they opened flat, a pushed higher. You could have sold a little bit of your positions. Like I had Palantir on sell, so you could have sold into strength, and you could have even got a little short because we, the Qs, we did push above 473 yesterday, hit 474 before coming in and testing this 465 area. So you could have, you could have got out of some things in strength, and you could have put on some hedges, and you could have bought a dip. So the market gave you 3 different ways to adjust yesterday. It wasn't predatory. I hate when the market's predatory. I hate when you're in something that's kind of looking good, feeling good, and then you get, blindsided the day after. So
Me too.
even with no ink deals, we held in here. So I would say get rid of this line. As long as, the Qs hold, this now 465-ish, there's a chance it could continue to work higher based on obviously what happens Wednesday, Thursday with some of these, bigger tech earnings.
Okay, good stuff there. As far as the deals go, we are actually hearing some stuff that India might be one of the first deals there. Also, I believe Trump has a meeting set up with Xi in the early May there, and I'm thinking about strategy there. I would think Mr. Trump is going to go into that meeting with as much leverage as possible, and I would imagine other countries know the same thing. So we'll see if we get some deals on top of that. There are a couple of individual names here that I wanted to ask you about. I hope that's okay. We already covered Tesla. I did want to take a quick look at Palantir because that thing has been on an absolute monster run recently. We're also getting a mention here about PayPal in chat as well as Spotify. I'm not sure if I've talked about those with you, so maybe we'll take a look at those too.
Yeah, well, here's Palantir. Palantir we did as a power play last week when it was focused right in here. Had a nice little bull flag above the moving averages.
Sure.
I know I got long it. You actually could have bought it above 98, so it was nice to see. That was the day I think Netflix also proved you could buy higher. And I sold mine yesterday, not because it's bad, not because it's going to be a good short. I just was like, I'm going to take this trade. I've held it for 5-6 days. I wanted the VTF and the Alpha team to see that I do take things off. I don't just hold strong stocks.
Mm-hmm.
I use a tier system. I think it's fine. Let it digest a little bit here. This could be one of the few stocks that makes a new all-time high, kind of like real quickly Netflix. Like, look what Netflix did. Netflix was awesome for the fact that, hey, you could have bought versus 998 or bought versus 1032, or you could have played for momentum. Hey, you could have bought through 1064 and made a trade to 1100. So I do think Palantir is in that camp where, if we continue to hold in for a week or two, this is a name that could get to, this 125 area, Next spot is 118, but I got to figure out how to get back in. Sometimes if you get out to try and be cute, it's hard to get back in, or it's just the trade's over. Here is when it's an A setup, a nice bull flag where you could buy versus a level, add, and then 4 days higher. You know what? You can get rid of it and move on to the next setup. What'd you say? Somebody asked me about PayPal. I haven't really traded PayPal in a long time. I'll take a look at it. Yeah, it's got like a lower level here. It's working its way back. It's not like special or anything.
My thing about PayPal is I think that bottom might be in. Kind of looking back to those previous areas there, sure does look like maybe we've retraced down here and put in a short-term bottom.
Yeah, you have your low. You had a big wide range bar that day, and then it held 50% of it, showed some commitment. It's working its way back. Yeah, I could see it. This looks like most other things. This looks like if you know PayPal and you like it, this looks like a lot of other things that could kind of work its way back towards a bigger resistance area, if not the 200-day if it wants it. It's just not leading. It's not this. Yeah. This is look powerful. Look how this is above everything. That's not. But there's not a lot of names that look like this. Look how I actually think Reddit looks pretty good. Reddit kind of like a PayPal is coming off the bottom, and maybe there's some room to like 130. I'm in some of this. APP looks kind of similar. It's like eating its way through some moving averages, has some resistance above. So there's not a lot of things that are like awesome. Like Spotify looked awesome going into the print. I guess it was too awesome. That's why No, I'm saying that's why it was like kind of price for perfection here. But it also came off lows. It's only down now. Spotify, if you look at it now, it's already come in. Hold on, it's already come off lows. Like it was. Oh yeah. It was. What was it? It was a 543. So this morning in the 630 club, I wrote down 537, 555. So it's come off a little bit. I just think it's it's been too priced for perfection, and the report wasn't really perfection. It was fine, but not enough to get it above 562 and get momentum. So now it's just going to need time because it's hard to do that.
Okay. One more here. I did really quickly want to ask you about Google. Got any? Do you trade that? Are you interested in that at all?
I took a Google call spread into the numbers. Beautiful. I bought a 160 by 167.5, and I made money by the skin of my teeth. It opened up on Friday, if you remember. It was as high as 166. I had to make a decision because I had a 160 by 167.5 call spread. I needed it to be above 167.5 to max. I'm like, doesn't feel like it. So I sold more of the 167.5 calls. So when they sucked it in, I was able to keep that. Got rid of the 160s for like $4, and I made money. It wasn't a maxed out call spread, but you had to be a surgeon. Lately, that's what you have to be, is a surgeon. Now, so if you look at the chart, if you think that the buyback's going to kick in, if you think that, just because they didn't give guidance, it's not going to be horrible, you could be long versus 158.60. I bought 165 calls for this week just so I don't have to really look at it for like $1.10. Either it's going to work or it's not going to work. But I think, you could also be long versus 158.60, and not overtrade it and just set your stop, set it and forget it, right? 160.45. And if it's going to hold here and go sideways and go up, you have your risk defined because the binary event's out of the way.
I'm embarrassed to say how many times I've seen that late night infomercial for that crock pot with set it and forget it. I'm embarrassed to admit it, so I won't even try. Look, but this is really good stuff here, folks. Trade the lead up to and the aftermath of the Fed meeting live with Scott Redler, totally free, of course, May 5th through 9th. QR code is at the top of the screen there. Link is in the chat. Red Dog, lay it on me. What are Red Dog sandwiches? I am a fan of a good sandwich. Lay it on me.
Let me ask you a question. How far are you from Millburn, New Jersey?
Several hours, probably 9 hours by car, and an hour and a half, 2 hours by flight.
Well, next time you come to the city for something, you come to Millburn Standard. There's a restaurant there that I do a lot of work for. I'm on the Rec Commission. I'm on the Ed Foundation. I MC Rocktoberfest. I built a turf field here. So basically, during the pandemic, I closed the street down. So they gave me a sandwich called the Red Dog sandwich. It's basically like a Philly cheesesteak sandwich, but it's better. It's got a baguette. It's double toasted. I put jalapenos on there. Real cheese, not a cheese sauce. And I don't go French fries. I go celery. Because part of my diet for 2025 is no French fries, no beer. I haven't had French fries or beer in 2025. And no bread unless it's on a sandwich. Because you can have the sandwich, but don't have chips, don't have the side stuff. So you reduce those calories. You're not Fat Daddy at the beach.
Okay. Okay, a couple of things there. So first of all, I love a good cheesesteak. I absolutely can't wait to try to have that. I don't know how you don't eat bread and fries, but the beer, That's a good one. I'm with you on that 100%. I will absolutely try that Red Dog sandwich. Really, really good stuff. Really, really good
You
stuff.
got to come to the Milburn Standard, and I'll take you. It's on me.
All right. Hey, I'm never going to turn down free food. I appreciate that. Scott, thanks so much. Really appreciate it. Can't wait to catch up with you next time. All right.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. Always a pleasure.
All right. That is the Red Dog from T3. Absolutely awesome stuff. How many of you want to try a Red Dog sandwich? How many of you thought we were going to be talking about food at 9 o'clock in the morning, making you absolutely hungry as can be? Oh, I'm in big trouble here. We got to get this market open. We got to get some trades done. We got to get to lunchtime here. I'm in big trouble. We're going to help speed this process up by talking to 13. Let's see how he's doing. 13, are you as hungry as I am, boss?
Oh, no.
Okay,
I'm good to go.
Oh, good, because I'm in rough shape here. Dude has his own sandwich. Amazing.
All right, well, hit the like for Ryan. Maybe we can feed him today.
Oh, we'll definitely do that. Russ, by the way, I saw your comment earlier. That's right, buddy. We're gonna run it off. I'm gonna do that as soon as we get out of here today. So I'm not even gonna feel bad about having that food later. No problem at all. Okay, food talk is always fun, says Jane. Yeah, it is. It just makes me hungry. That's really the only deal there. Okay, 13. What do you want to do? Should we just attack the movers right away?
Yeah, let's get those out of the way because I don't know. It's not that great of a list, I think, today. It's
not. There are some things on there, but it's not that great of a list. We actually had a really good list with some of the bigger stocks. Red Dog hit a lot of them there, so that was a really, really good breakdown. Let's go ahead, take a look at that movers list. We'll start here. Oh my God, what is this? HIMZ? Yeah, this is the Lever Defiance ETF here. For HIMS. We can probably skip over that. We talked about the news. If you're
What's the short one? Is it HIMA? I don't know. Just thought I don't know. I don't know what the short version is.
Oh, I see. AZ. Got it. No, doesn't look like it is. I don't know what it is. That's a good one. This is up because of the HIMS news. Yeah, the partnership with Novo Nordisk and the availability of Wegovy on the HIBS platform. Okay, aside from that, though, we'll go here next. WLDS. This is one that we've traded here before. We did have an impulse move that took us almost up to 3 here. Wearable Devices unveils revolutionary gesture mapper for MudraLink, ushering in a new area of personalized neural control. Part of this sounds freaky, but there's your news. We're driving it 60% higher today. Smoke Tune, I don't think he's here yet. I think he said yesterday, if we don't have 100% movers in the small caps, they might not be that strong. This is our leader, only up about 66% here. Excuse me. 1.34% of its float shorted here with 1 day to cover. That comes on an average volume of 106,000 shares. We traded 21 million plus here today. 13, what do you got? WLDS.
Yeah, so that news about the wearable devices update for MudraLink, that was all from last week on Thursday. There's been no news this week so far. So when I was looking at the chart, I saw that we have come off what I think actually might be the lowest print it's ever made. Let me just double check that. Yeah, it looks like it. And I noticed that the RSI was pretty low. It was quite down there. It wasn't super overdone, but it was at 33. Which is still pretty low, and it had made the lowest print, in the stock's history. And we're coming off that now. So the only thing I could really find on why it's even moving today is possibly just a low RSI. It is possible that news from last week is carrying over into this week. When I looked under the hood a little bit more, saw that didn't have really any edge on their income. They got $3 million in cash in the bank. Stocks, got less than 1 million shares in the float, 959,000. And it just regained compliance, NASDAQ compliance this month. So aside from all those bullet points, I'm not exactly sure what's causing the run today. So I would just maybe think that this is a low RSI bounce.
Exercise caution on this one. We've seen WLDS get frisky before and then immediately knife or broadsword or whatever it is that you're looking for there. So let's be careful here, but really good stuff. Good breakdown there. WLDS. This is one of the top movers on the list here.
And it's trading beneath its VWAP. So until we start recapturing that, this is going to have to be one we wait out.
Good point. Good point there. Justine here saying it's not even 7 a.m. for me. So I'm in the same boat, right? I'm always quoting you Eastern time because we're on market time here. So we run on market time, but I'm in the Central time. So I'm actually an hour behind. Sounds like you're in California. So it's even earlier for you. The last thing you're thinking about is pizza and Italian beef at 7 o'clock or 6 o'clock in the morning. I feel you on that one. With you there, but lunchtime will be here soon enough. Okay, next on the list here is going to be OMH. This is Oh My Home. Almost like you stub your toe. That's what I think of every time that I see this stock. We've taken a look at this a few times. It's like you stub your toe. Oh, my home. That's just, I might start saying that every time I do that, but I digress here. Oh, my home reports fiscal year 24 EPS of an 18-cent loss. That was versus the 30-cent loss the year prior. So that was actually a beat here. This is reports 118% revenue growth of fiscal year 2024. Okay, stock is up 46.8% here. Take a quick look around the horn. 3.29% of the float shorted with 1 day to cover. The float on this stock, 1.37 million. Average volume, 140,000. We've traded 5 mil already here today. So the short interest should be nothing for this. Big pop here on Oh My Home. What do you got here, 13? Looks like we have some previous levels coming into play here.
Okay, well, I didn't notice that Patrick Mahomes, Oh My Home, was going to be, starting to run here. So I didn't quite cover this one because it started going just as I was about to come on. I'm looking at for the first time this morning. So what I can pull from this is that we have a 1.37 million share float. Don't have any read on their financial position. Looks like they do have 2 million in the bank, but no, I don't know what their income's like. What else can I pull from this? Going to be tied to rates, I would assume, since it's in the real estate management development sector. So it just regained compliance last month. Don't really know what else to say about this
It's
one,
okay.
other than let's go to the technicals and see what those are telling us. And
real quick here, Smoke Tuna saying that this was on the list a few weeks ago. Looking at the 5-minute chart here, it does indeed looks like we got a pop on April 3rd, a bigger run there on April 17th, and recently a pretty big fallout from April 22nd.
Yeah, I got levels over at $6 and $6.80. Those are still there from the last time we traded this.
Okay.
So don't know if we'll end up seeing that print today, but let's look and see what we can get for now. Looks like we just moved through the 65 EMA on the 5-minute, on the daily chart. That value is at 273, so we're trading above that now. Looks like we're trying to fill the gap that was created from March 5th to 6th. And that's going to fill, if we're looking at the low, that's going to fill at 325. The close is 330. So that would be my next target from here, I'd say, is filling that gap. And then after that, we have this consolidation that's right in there. That could create a supply zone. So filling that gap, that might create a bit of a rejection here. But it looks like 370, 375 might be the next target above that. So once we fill the gap, that's what I'd be looking at, is like 370.
Okay. Really good stuff there on OMH. By the way, I see a number of you mentioning news here. Besant is on right now. He's giving a live briefing. He's there with Press Secretary Levitt. I can't hear what they're saying. I just see the chirons at the bottom here. Chinese tariffs are unsustainable for China. That's not new news. We knew that. We want to give automakers a pass to create jobs. That's been said since before Liberation Day. Again, nothing new there either. Something here affecting Amazon. Looks like Izzy got it. White House slamming Amazon right now on CNBC. Hostile situation. So I'm going to look for some of the quotes here. I don't think we have that yet. I would imagine we will get these, though, as they get aggregated and put in here. Amazon down 2.2% here on the back of these comments. Again, I can't hear what they're saying, so I'm not going to try to pretend. Those of you that are watching it, that's great. I'm sure I'll get filled in on that here in a sec. But looking at Amazon, is this viable? Is this a viable pullback? Is this an idiot drop?
I just wait for now. I just would hold off on this because it's pulling down the whole market. I do like this headline here: U.S.-China to ease tariffs gradually after complex talks, says Morgan Stanley. So even they know that something's happening, despite the narrative they're trying to push out.
Okay. Tax bill is moving forward. Is that the tax bill that eliminates income tax? Because that would be sick. That would be sick.
It's happening this year. It's got it, because the 2017 Trump tax cuts expire this year. So have to have a tax policy this year.
That would be something else. Okay, Jay Rice says, I'm back. Hope you made money off Hims. Jay, we've been handing out register rings all morning here. Hims has been the trade du jour. Hopefully you made some money off of that. Appreciate you stopping by early and dropping that off here as well. Okay, producer, he's just out here getting it done. I'm just going to go ahead and read these. Besant tax bills moving forward. Won't detail auto tariff relief. Amazon showing tariffs on each product is hostile and political act. I told you my thought about that. That is that's a nothing thing for me. I just kind of reiterate what we had heard from someone else here in the chat a couple of weeks ago. I have enough cheap Chinese shit in my life and my house right now. If I'm going to be shown that there is a tariff really increasing the price, I'll look for a different product or figure out something else.
This is the Trump versus Bezos fight that they've been having forever. This is not new to me. This is just a Trump Bezos fight. I mean, I know that Bezos is not the CEO anymore, but still very much an owner of the company.
There we go. That's what's good. Well, this is kind of why I'm asking here on Amazon. Where's the buy spot here? Is he looking at you, right? Where's the buy spot here? How do we buy this for a short-term trade?
Well, let's see. That's a nice drop too. Why did I not go to the daily? Come on. There we go. Well, let's see what happens when it gets down to the 20-day SMA.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think it's at 183.5 right now, 184. I'll tell you what, this 182 level looks like some previous support from the recent moves as well as some in the past year. 200 definitely seems to be an upside level here. I'm not sure there. Anyway, let me know. Let me know what buyable spots we get on Amazon. Are you looking to trade this here today? Is this a short-term trade here today? We'll see.
Did you want to go over some more movers?
Yeah. I wanted to cover the Amazon news there because it looked like chat was freaking out about that, and they're still freaking out about it.
And Mark, we'll get to UPS too.
Yeah, I agree with you, day trader. I'm not sure how hostile it is. To me, I actually really appreciate this. I agree with Robert. Transparency is a good thing.
Yes,
I agree with that.
Jay Rice, I remember that too. I know that he was, but I think that was more just for the election. I still think that they had bad blood.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty safe bet. I think that's a pretty safe bet. Okay, we talked about HIMS. We talked about OMH, WLDS. Next one I have here is LFMD. Was that on your list?
Yes, it was. On my list that I took a look at was WLDS, HIMS, and LFMD. I know we know what HIMS is, but I wanted to make sure we understood what the whole news was. And it's kind of interesting because HIMS and LFMD are kind of tied to this whole Novo Nordisk situation.
Sorry, I'm highlighting the actual funny comments.
More like a space cadet, for sure.
Oh, 3D. That was good stuff. Bonus points. Okay, LFMD here. LifeMD shares trading higher after the company announced it will offer access to Wegovy. It looks like this is just kind of on the same thing here as HIMS, but not nearly the same type of move here, although it is still up 24.5%. Looks like we printed a high here of about 830. We backed off that high. Good news here. We are holding above the VWAP, are we not? We are right at the VWAP, literally to the penny at the VWAP here. Quick look at the short interest, 16.07% of the float is shorted here with 8.35 days to cover. That comes on 1.2 million shares of average volume. So far this morning, we've traded 3.2, just thereabout. So maybe that has a little bit of an effect here. Float 38.3 million here. What do you got on this, 13?
Yeah, so that's really just it, is that they're Novo Nordisk is working with HIMS and LFMD to sell more Wegovy, and LFMD's this is probably going to be better for LFMD than anybody else because they really need this business. They aren't quite profitable yet. I just realized I didn't take a look at their financials, but I think it was because they didn't really have a good read on it for me to take a look at. Nope, they do. So yeah, they not quite profitable. They've got 35 million in the bank. This was the problem. I didn't really like the balance sheet because their liabilities outweighed their assets. So I wasn't too impressed with that. But the difference between this one and HIMS actually has a very high short interest, which is why I think you're seeing better movement. It's 31% of the float shorted versus this one, which just has 16. Aside from that, there's really no news to really discuss. They're getting the access to sell Wegovy. Looking at the chart here, we're trying to recapture the VWAP. It's been trying all morning ever since that impulse move. Looks like we're going to we'll know in the next 50 seconds if we're going to close this current candle above the VWAP, and if we do, we'll have to see if we continue that, because that's what I'm waiting for, is to have multiple closes above the VWAP. That might end up sending LFMD further up. We're also about 21 minutes away from opening, and we should get some better trading once we approach the opening bell. But the high in the pre-market is 829, so that's what I would be looking at the price going if we can hold above VWAP.
Okay, real quick, here's some good comments. Anne Marie, looks like you are going to take a stab here at Amazon long, a little here, 183.55, looking for 186 target, but could add near 181 to cost average in. I absolutely love this very, very specific trade plan. Anne Marie, thank you for sharing. Jay here, I know this seems a little snarky, but Jay's hitting the nail here on the head. Amazon, this was 166 a week ago. A lot of whining over a 4-point drop. Jay is exactly right. On this here. There's been a lot of whining out there, I've noticed, Jay, and it doesn't seem like it's going to quiet down here. Real quick, LFMD. What do you think about this as a potential head and shoulders on the daily? Yes, no, I know these are a little bit kind of spiky, a little bit more than some of those shoulders that we like. What do you think? What do you think on this, though?
I tend to like to see the head and shoulders at the top of a rally.
I thought you were going to say that.
Not the
I thought you were going to say that. Okay. Okay.
This looks like more failed attempts at recovery. So if I'm looking at it that way, I'm thinking that maybe 750 is the number to pay attention to. So if you draw the horizontal line there, it might become clearer. But that's kind of where I'm at with LFMD. I'd be looking at 750. We're currently above it right now, but we could easily lose it just as we've lost levels after rallies, as shown here on the chart.
Okay.
750 is an important level to me.
Okay, good stuff. One more thing. I'm sorry I'm flipping back and forth here, but I did want to cover some things here. 13, look what happened here. So we were talking about HIMS, and I was watching the price action here this morning, and it popped right in to the start of the predicted shoulder that I drew. So as you can probably imagine, I will be watching this over the next several sessions. No, nothing. It's not telling us anything yet, but we shall see. Remember, I drew that on there thinking, it'll be interesting to see if we trade into this. And lo and behold, we have started that. We'll see how this shakes out. Okay. Excuse me. Back here to the movers tool. Good breakdown there, LFMD. Next is going to be OMEX. This was our one little day trader from yesterday. So it was a winner yesterday. Are you going back to the well here today is the question. This is up a little bit here in the pre-market after a pretty big pullback yesterday. I don't think we have anything new on this today. Nope, nothing new on this today. So this would just be a continuation from yesterday. It obviously had relative volume yesterday as it had a huge move. It's actually had a pretty decent relative volume for the past 3 days. So maybe this move has kind of slowed down a little bit. 7.88% of the float shorted here as a reminder, 1.94 days to cover. Float 27.8 million. Average volume traded 15.7 million. We've only traded 3.6 million here today. Do you think that there's another trade here on OMEX, or did we hit this yesterday?
Well, I don't want to say that there isn't, but I'm not sure how much more we're going to get out of this if it, because it's still doing the same thing it's been doing since last week. But I do like that it's trading above VWAP. We have the 65 EMA coming up to VWAP, which, if the price remains up here, it's going to cross it. That's usually a bullish indicator. And if you want, we can even extend the trend line that we used to trade all the way up to 209 yesterday. Just extend that, and you'll see that the price that it potentially could go to out of the open is up in the 250s. So I don't want to, say that that's not possible, but I just don't think it's as likely as it was yesterday. So I would just kind of use an abundance of caution, when thinking that this might go up to the upside. I don't know how high it's going to go. It might get to 250. It might not. And when I look to the left at the previous days, like on Monday and Friday, I can see that there's a lot of areas of resistance that could come into play. We're talking like, some we've already seen in the pre-market, the high of 167. That was an area, as you can see from the price action yesterday, the consolidation. You have the highs of on Thursday. That's an area, 180. You have the high from yesterday. You have the $2 level. So there's a lot of resistance areas on the way up that I'd be concerned about. And I'd need to see some pretty significant volume in order to take that up there. I'm not so sure it's going to get up there. So I think what I would also want to do, just for my own peace of mind, is draw a second trend line that starts from, let's say, the lows of the pre-market yesterday. Shoot, I messed that up. The lows from the pre-market yesterday, and just draw it up through the lows that we've had since then. And I would just say that if we lose that those lows, if we fall beneath that trend line, then I think this trade is over.
Okay. Really good breakdown there on Omex. I am probably going to stay away from this one here today. We'll see. I wanted to clean up a couple of comments here in the chat. First of all, Rafat, first time I ever went to Chicago last week, and I did not have a dipped Italian beef sandwich and peppers, nor did I have to get a Chicago dog. Well, Rafat, you know what that tells me? That tells me that you need to come back pretty soon, because you should absolutely try both of those. Really quick, funny story here. I had my buddy in from South Carolina over the weekend, and we got a hot dog at the golf course that we were playing. I, of course, just put mustard on it because I'm from Chicago. He put ketchup and mustard on the hot dog, and one of the guys standing next to here looked at him and said, you know, in Chicago, we don't put ketchup on hot dogs. And his response was, I'm from the South. That's how we do it down there. So Rafat, it was good times. Rafat, sounds like you need to come back. Both of those items are delicious. They are delicious. Okay, I'm going to keep running here through the list. Jay, don't forget 25% of the Qs report in the next 2 days. Microsoft, Apple, Meta, and Amazon. Nobody has forgot. If you need a reminder, here is your earnings chart for the day. Anne-Marie is here today. So if you want to set up any earnings trades for some of these stocks, today might be a good day to ask about that. I have a feeling we're gonna try to cram a lot into Anne-Marie's very short segment here today. But here you go, Jay. Nobody forgot about this. This is without a doubt going to be the biggest earnings week. The most busy week of this earnings season. So okay, good stuff there. Joe's asking, what's my favorite beef? It was probably the old school Portillo's. Now it's probably Al's. Johnny's isn't bad. Still kind of like Portillo's. Sorry, Eric. Sorry, making me crave Portillo's at 8:15 in the morning. Don't forget, Portillo's has never closed the store. Just saying. Okay, let's keep running down the list. I gotta stop talking about food. I'm really hurting myself.
Go have breakfast, man.
It's my own fault. There's nobody to blame but me. Right, but I'm still screwing it up here. Here's Wolf. This is Wolf Speed. Looks like Tuna's mentioning this one. I said it was going to 5 yesterday, and what did it do here today?
You're 8 cents short.
Well, so far we haven't even opened yet. Smoke Tuna might get his call right away. There's Tuna. That was a great call
at VWAP, so it might bounce. It could bounce here. Just watch for it.
Indeed, and the volume yesterday really kind of telling the story here, right? Really, we got the bigger move yesterday. Volume was more voluminous, if you will, yesterday. Let's see. No news after hours, right? Nope. No news after hours. No news this morning. Stock is just up 15% on continuation from yesterday's session. 64.39% of the float shorted. Oh my goodness. 2.96 days to cover. Got a float here of 98 million. On average, the stock trades 24 million shares. We've done just shy of 5 mil here today. So what do you got? You think we got a squeeze here? You think we got more of a run here on Wolf? Tuna's giving you the $5 target. We're a scotch away from that right now. I think we probably hit that one, no?
Oh, I'm sure it's entirely possible we do. I think the big question for me is what happens when we get back up to 485? I'm kind of pinning on that level just because when I look at all the price action from the pre-market this morning, that value, 485, is where we have a whole bunch of these upper shadows, these wicks, but no closes. So I just kind of pinned 485. You could even you could do 480 if you want, but I'm going with 485 just because it seems like that's the real big difficult level to get over for Wolf right now. So if we get back to approaching that and the volume starts to increase, feel a little more confident about going through 485 on its way up to 5. Now, I do see that on the price ladder here, there is a significant size seller at 495 and 497. Okay. So we might run into resistance just before 5, which even it might even get going here, which lends to even more credibility about that 5 level with so many sellers in the way trying to prevent that from getting taken out. So I think 5's on deck for sure. Just let's see what happens here at the open, and it's got to hold above VWAP. As a matter of fact, we can even do one last thing: draw a trend line from that 492 through the high that happened about 20 minutes ago, and then you have a little trend line there to break.
I see it.
Yeah.
I see it there. This is what we're looking at.
Let's break that.
Perfect.
Let's break that and see what happens.
Let's break that. Let's go to Tuna's target. Then we can all celebrate together. That's what we can do here. Sounds good to me. Richard here in the chat says, I'm from the South. We never added ketchup. I screenshotted your comment. I sent it to my buddy. He said, LMAO, that's great. Everyone I knew did ketchup or mustard or both. Love it. Dude is wrong. We got fighting words out here. We're talking about food. Oh, this is going to be a good day, folks. This is going to be a good day. Okay, I'm going to keep rolling through the list here. TVGN, this is also worth mentioning here. This popped in the after hours yesterday. I believe that we've traded this one off the relative volume scanner before. Kind of a junky company here. Tevogen Bio Holding shares are trading higher after the company reaffirmed its oncology pipeline revenue forecast, projecting $1 billion in its launch year and a cumulative 5-year estimate of $10 billion to $14 billion. Stock is $1.08 right now. Keep that in mind here real quick. We take a quick look at the short interest, a look around the horn there. 4.07% of the float shorted on 2.29 days to cover. That's on a sub-mil average volume of 870,000 per day. Float here, 36 mil. We've traded 6 mil here today. This stock actually does have coverage, which I guess I'm a little bit surprised at. Let's see what kind of coverage we got on this. Is it Wainwright? Nope, it's D. Boral. So very similar here. $10 price target, D. Boral Capital. The only thing that is covering it, they have a maintain on the stock. 13, what do you got here? Ticker TVGN.
I didn't really look at this one because by the time I did, it was already down to like 14% on the day, and it just wasn't really moving that well. And it looked like the whole move was over. So here's where I'm at with this one. This has a nice trend line starting from the impulse move that took it up to 148, and you could draw it through the high at about these are both from yesterday, by the way. Draw it through the highs from yesterday, and when you do that and continue it through today, you can see that we did have a breakout, and now we're back testing this trend line now. My thought here is that if this is if it's gonna behave well with this trend line, we're gonna see a move off of this pretty soon here, and try to take out that 115 area on its way up to recapture some of the levels it was trading at yesterday afternoon. There you go, just like that. So I don't know if that's going to happen, but that's what I'm going to be watching for. We're going to need to see volume expand. It's very, very close to $1. So, I'm not sure about this one. And I also see that there is a concentration of sellers starting at 120. So that's about where we had this consolidation in the when we opened in the pre-market here. We went sideways until about 550 this morning. So that's what I'd be watching for with this one. Don't really have anything else to cover on TVGN other than let's see a rebound off this back test of the trend line and go higher. What's so funny?
Richard is absolutely hilarious here right now. Richard is just going off. I wish my teammate was in the chat right now. I love how much engagement and back and forth we have. Richard here. It's unholy to ruin a good hot dog with ketchup, mustard, dill relish, shredded cheese, and Texas chili. Oh, Richard, we're having a good time. We're having a good time prior to the open. Two more things, or well, actually one more kind of small junky thing I wanted to just kind of talk about here real quick. Then we can talk about SoFi. We got asked earlier about Spot, Palantir, SoFi, and Pony. We covered Palantir and Spot with Red Dog. We'll do Pony and SoFi next year. Plug is up here today. This actually has a double top here right around 120. Jay had the comment of the day yesterday about Plug. This is the Mullen of the renewable energy or the hydrogen energy space here. Be careful with this one. That being said, it did move here. Do we have any news on this here today?
This is probably a short squeeze.
Yeah, this is yesterday. We didn't really have anything since yesterday.
Preliminary results.
27.23% of the float shorted with 5 days to cover. So to your point there about a short squeeze, 13, we definitely have the dry powder for that. Float here of almost $1 billion, folks. 968 million on average. A stock trades 65 million. We traded 13 million here today. I'll tell you this, I'm going to stay away from Plug for sure here today. Maybe a double top breakout there at 120 as that's very clear resistance. What do you got?
So this did report preliminary Q2 results. So what they're anticipating, their earnings report will say, the estimation was for 143 million, and they're expecting between 140 and 180. They also signed a 250 million credit facility. So their ability to finance operations looks like that's going to, I don't know how much they burn, but it looks like that's going to give them a runway for some time. Don't like the way this stock is trading. I mean, this thing is just like a barcode. That concerns me. But if this provides enough movement to make a trade, we can try and do that. 27.2% of the float shorted with 5.3 days to cover. That's right in our what we're looking for is in terms of a short squeeze. So we may end up getting that, but I think this is just another one we have to be careful with. And if you want to draw one of those trend lines on the bottom part of this price action we've been having in the pre-market here, I think think losing that trend line might be your indication to stay away. So we'll see if what happens with that.
It's a pretty steep one, so
yeah,
at least the way I drew it.
But it can come right down to that pretty easily. I don't think that's too far away. It's like only 105, and that's like 6 cents or 5-6 cents away. So we'll see what happens there with plug. But that's what I've got there. I did want to get to UPS real quick as we were
let's do it. Looks like there's a discussion in chat right now. Someone has some husband or spouse that works there. Let's talk about this. Here's UPS. By the way, I'm going to extend this box out because this is one of the things that we were looking at for a potential trade here on UPS. I think we started talking about this with Mark Petrino, but I don't want to say it wrong if that's wrong. What do you got here, 13?
Yeah, so this is they reported earnings and they had an earnings beat. They didn't want to provide an outlook because macroeconomic uncertainty. So we can understand that. But there's also news of the company potentially downsizing, or they're announcing downsizing actions. And
20K layoffs, I believe, is what the news was.
And they're also looking at using humanoid robots. So they're talking with a company called Figure AI. Unfortunately, it is a private company, so we can't trade this. But what's interesting about Figure AI is that this was a company that was also founded by the founder of Archer Aviation. So interesting little bullet point there. This is likely to, I don't know what kind of, role the humanoid robots are going to be used for, if it's going to be warehouse only, or if they're going to actually have these robots, getting kicked out of trucks to go drop packages off in the front doors of people. I don't know exactly because I haven't read too much into this, but if this is meant to be a cost reduction measure, then we're just going to have to wait and see how that plays out, because it's going to be some time before we end up seeing any financial results from that.
Okay. So real quick here, we have Mama Bear here. My spouse works at UPS. Jay, you were talking about the 20K layoff. That was from a journal article this morning. I went ahead and threw the link in the chat. That's where he's getting it from. Mama Bear, you're saying that they're not doing these layoffs, or at a minimum, not at the hub at which your husband works. So interesting. They will. And then there was another comment here. Let me see if I can find that here. Alex saying UPS are closing a location due to loss of business by Amazon. Mm-hmm. Is that by you? Okay.
That's, I mean, they're slashing costs because, they're Amazon, one of their largest customers, not going to.
So it sounds like you're just kind of taking all of the information that we're getting here from the group. It sounds like, first of all, Mama Bear, it sounds like you're in a hub where there are not layoffs going on. Otherwise, you and your spouse would see them and have more information about them. You're busy. Yeah, you said busy here. So your hub must be busy. Looks like maybe they're just kind of closing hubs that aren't as busy. That would be my guess.
That saw a lot of Amazon activity.
Let me ask you, though, the layoffs here, isn't this going to be better for the bottom line, workforce reduction? Stock's down here over 1% in the pre-market.
I think just, not having Amazon as a customer anymore is better for their bottom line. They were. Yes, exactly.
Mama, that's what Mama Bear is saying. Yep.
So this is much better for their bottom line. This is one of the reasons why I want to own it, was because they don't have Amazon as a customer. This is going to be a margin improvement for them.
Buffalo by Bicycle saying UPS drivers are horrible. I would take the other side of that. I would say that I know the UPS driver that comes around my place here, he's awesome. He holds packages for me. He'll call me. If I have like a phone being delivered that I have to sign for, he will call me to make sure I don't miss the delivery. He even helped the old woman bring in her garbage the other day. I saw him do that. So I'll say this. I know a couple of UPS drivers. The one that services my area is fantastic. There's no way I'm going to talk smack about him. But that could very clearly differ between depending on the area that you're in. Come on, Ryan, get it together. The one thing I do like here about UPS, this area that we're in here, this actually looks pretty good for an ad. So we got this at 90 to 100. That does seem like a pretty good ad zone. Okay, real quick here. We're running out of time, aren't we? We're less than a minute here. We wanted to talk very quickly about SoFi. We will talk about Pony AI when the market is open. SoFi Technology shares are trading higher after the company reported better than expected Q1 financial results and raised its full year 25 guidance above estimates. Stocks up 7% here today. Next level here for me certainly seems to be the 1380 level that we had marked off. We're above that. Let's see if we can close above that and the 100-day, and we're open. Taking a breath.
And we're open.
Okay.
LFMD, that's trying to push into the high of the pre-market, which is 831.
Here you go. Watch that pre-market high for a possible bust here. 830, your double top there from the pre-market.
Big pull on Omex out of the gate here. TVGN back testing that trend line. Plug bouncing off the trend line we just drew, so that might be something to watch for here. It's back above its VWAP. I think once this gets past past the 65 EMA on the 5-minute, that might be a good time to get into this one. But we'll see. No recommendations. You decide how you're going to trade that.
Answering some questions here in Slack really quick.
Yeah, just looking and seeing. Everything's kind of pulling that we were looking at this morning. It's kind of pulling out of the gate here. Wolf really coming down.
Here, let me put Wolf up here. LFMD pulled off that spot too. Let me put Wolf up here. I'll finish up real quick and I'll get back in action here.
Yeah, I'm just kind of. Oh, there we go. Oh, my Holmes. Patrick Mahomes is bouncing here, trying to recap. It's a recaptured VWAP. Looks like $3 might be the resistance area for this one. Let's see what happens if it can push through that area. High of the pre-market for OMH is 354.
Okay, poll results are in. Apple earnings. Beat, mixed, miss, or not sure. Producer giving you the out there by giving you the not sure option. 30% of you say a beat, 27% of you say mixed, 26% of you say miss, and 15% of you opting not to vote there, saying not sure. We'll see what Apple reports on Thursday.
Tesla making a lot of people happy right now with a good impulse move here.
Amazon going right to Anne-Marie's target. In the Anne-Marie we trust, do not doubt. Look at this move here. Izzy, did you take Amazon 2 out of the open? Really good stuff here. That was a nice live trade given here in the chat. You'll just love to see that.
OMH.
Let's go here. Amazon 185, sorry, 13, 185.60. Anne-Marie, that's your target. Let's ring that register. Anne-Marie giving you, she's not even waiting. She's so excited to be back. She's not even waiting for her segment. She's just like, here, we got a gift. Amazon, bang. Stop now, 181.90. Anne-Marie, well done. Well done.
And well done, everybody that traded that. But yes, well done, Anne-Marie.
SoFi here rolling up to the high there. SoFi Technologies trading higher. The company reported better than expected Q1 financial results and raised full year 25 guidance above the estimates here. 1450 possible breakout spot here on SoFi. We'll see if we've got the strength to do that. Wow, what a run this has been on recently. Wonder where this runs into some more resistance. 1450, maybe 15 next, maybe even 14 3/4. We'll see.
Plug went up to the 65 EMA on the 5-minute, turned back around, losing a little bit of altitude here. Trying to hold above VWAP, but it's not looking great at the moment. TVGN, that went straight down to $1, bounced off there. Let's see if it can hold above $1. OMH, that popped up over $3. It went as high as 312.
Yeah, 315 still that spot there.
And it's still trying to get over that area that was resistance in the pre-market. But if we do push over that, we could see a bit of a run here in OMH. Not sure how long it'll last, but I think a high volume pop may end up taking it up to the at least the pre-market high. We'll see if we end up getting that. LFMD, that's lower. WLDS, that's kind of just sideways, trading to the upside and downside, but currently about where it opened at.
WW, this is a penny stock here. Weight Watchers International, this is pushing higher here.
I wonder if it's on the
pharmacy integration with Eli Lilly's Lilly Direct pharmacy provider, so that will help get GLP-1s, I assume. Yeah.
Yep. It's all in that news. What else? What other weight loss?
Hims coming back in. We talked about this. Look, when we saw this move in the pre-market, the first thing I said is if you are long this, let's trim this. We talked, I should have asked Red Dog to repeat it earlier, but we're traders, so when you have things that win, it's important that you pay yourself at some point. Hims here, grats to all of you that closed any of your position, whether partial or full or otherwise. Cha-ching.
WLDS, it's still kind of in that sideways channel that it was in the pre-market, but it's moving up. Need to see this get over 210. Just looking around here, see what else is having fun today. Yeah, this looks like the WLDS might be the one that could get going here, but need to get over that that level I just mentioned. That what is it? 211, 210. Oops, that's not what I wanted to click.
Take that.
Looks like TVGN is still having a hard time recapturing VWAP. This may end up going down to $1 again.
WLDS, this is curling up towards its VWAP. You might have a bust through that if it can go. LFMD, that's still pulled back here. Oh My Home, that stopped at we really need 3 and 315 on Oh My Home. That one's pretty easy.
Yeah, that one just lost its VWAP.
You guys mentioned that WW has a high float there.
Oh, that was a fake out. Now we got some
which one?
Going,
Sorry, which one?
Oh My Home. It just went beneath VWAP, took out some folks, and then it popped back up to the $3 area. No, $2.99. Sorry, but it's really trying to get going over 3. It really wants to get over 3.
284 holding that VWAP pretty good so far here. Robert, good morning, Robert. Nice to see you again. You were mentioning Pony here just sold off out of the gate.
Looks like Omax is bouncing off its 200 EMA, as is Wolf.
Pony, this was a little bit of a consolidation area before we took another leg higher yesterday. So maybe this is a bounce here. That $9 round $9 level might also come into play as well. Smoke Tuna mentioning that Oh My Home will knife. So just be careful with that. We've seen that before from that ticker. Indeed, be careful. Tesla getting absolutely sunk right now. That pulling here, 281.
And nothing really looking interesting right now. Maybe WLDS.
WLDS here. Crow says reverse split float under 1 million. This could really go. Looks like Crow is looking at that one. WLDS. Smoke Tuna saying that it's not ready yet, but maybe if you think it might go, this is an adding zone here. Makes sense to me. This $2 level is what I really want this to hold. Izzy giving us a heads up here. Sorry for running you over again, 13. Ryan, SoFi will be talked about by Kramer here. He loves Nodo, so it should pop soon. I don't see Kramer on TV, but that's probably a good thing and why I'm still smiling this morning.
Man, there are so many things that we were just looking at this morning that are not doing well.
Wolf bounced off the 65 EMA on the 5. I also briefly saw UPS on the relative volume scanner there real quick. UPS looks like this is back to about flat here.
HIMS is still making its way down to the 65 EMA. That value is at 33.56. May end up getting a bounce there. We'll see. OMEX, that's coming down to that bottom trend line that we drew. So if we don't get a bounce off of that and it falls through and starts trading underneath it, I don't know that I'd be wanting to even look at OMEX anymore.
What is the news here on Tesla that you're referring to, STFU? Elon Musk reacts a day after Ray Dalio warns of U.S. decline. Says China has already surpassed America as global consumption leader. Okay, dude. You might want to sit that one out. Go on vacation, Ray.
Yeah, if that was the case, they could just turn inward and have their own economy sustain them. But they're in turmoil over there.
Yep.
Kramer's back on CNBC. Okay, so this market's going down then?
Yeah, Kramer's with Faber, Pisani, and Quintanilla on the desk there. They're talking about the treasury yields at the moment. TVGN, this complete disaster. This really just almost retraced that entire move. Yikes. Weight Watchers, this is still going. This might be trying to make a run at $1. I know it's still 22 cents away, but I wouldn't take that off of the possibility list here today.
Yeah, this is just not a great morning.
I don't see anything tradable yet. Anne-Marie gave the best trade. Who's surprised about that, at least so far here today? Tesla, maybe if it bounces from this area, could be a decent long. You basically have to trade that against the stop or the low of the day there, though.
Google dumped. Oh, it's down under 160 again.
You know, it makes me wonder what's Amazon's. Amazon's got earnings in 2 days. Do you think that the news about adding the price difference due to the tariff so close to the earnings is related? Because it almost seems to me that Amazon is going to try and report good earnings. I got my conspiracy theory hat on. Maybe I should have said that initially. One of the reasons they want to do this is because they're going to report good numbers here, and they want to try and stick it, if you will, to the administration for the tariffs. Think that that's related at all? I'm just spitballing here. Could be. Day trader saying no. Timo did it too. Okay.
Did what?
Put the I believe Day trader correct me. Yeah, but I think the price difference due to tariffs.
Yeah, but that's kind of what you would expect from the Chinese company that's getting hit with tariffs.
Yeah, but to be fair to him, you're right on that 13. But to be fair to him, I'm trying to draw a connection that may not be there, and he's giving me a counterpoint of data, so it needs to be factored in.
No, I don't think he's wrong about that. I mean, you have one company doing it, a big company. Other companies going to do it too. You're probably going to end up seeing a lot of that in different. Probably might even see it on Walmart and Target too.
Yeah,
we'll have to wait and see.
Amazon's still bouncing here. This actually looks like this might be pretty decent here today. Tesla's still kind of bouncing there. Palo Alto, I missed the entry there. I'm more upset about that than I am about the Bitcoin one. That's for sure.
OMAX came down to that trend line, went beneath it, and then it bounced back up to recapture it. Gonna have to see if this holds. See a lot of sell orders at 152, so that's gonna suppress some of the upside until that gets taken out. Don't know if we're gonna bounce here or not.
Novo Nordisk puts getting bought. This is going to be post that HIMS news. I am seeing some HIM calls getting bought into this pullback. ARM calls getting bought here. Actually, that's some pretty decent premium there too on ARM. Maybe a possible breakout here. What do we got? 115. Yeah, that's exactly what that. Here, looking at the chart here on ARM. People, look at this chart. People are sweeping up the 115 calls. You think they're thinking that's going higher? Looks like options market telling us ARM going to try and make a move higher here based on what we just saw there.
Look at that.
Crocodile Dummy says past the tinfoil.
Look at that rebound in OMEX right off that, not exactly off the trend line, but that trend line was worth watching for the move.
Ed saying SPXS is over. Look, things change quickly here. The tranche of calls that I have for this week that expired, yes, those are probably over here. Those are 8 calls. SPXS is at 671 with 3 days to expiry. It would take a pretty huge move to get back there. But one more thing, this is also why if you sell partial and the instrument moves against you, the right trade might be to add more at a different strike so that this doesn't happen to you. Now, again, thankfully here, the tactical move behind this was to sell some of it so that even if it came against you, it wasn't really a big deal. They're cheap to begin with, so I was okay with losing the whole thing to begin with. But I'm not done with this. I will still look at SQQQ or SPXS. Without a doubt.
Interesting mention here. What was that? Said that Crow. I'm looking at CEP right now on a 5-minute chart, and I see that you could even probably do it. Draw a trend line from what's this?
Which chart? Sorry,
CEP.
CEP.
Yeah, draw a trend line starting from Friday's high, draw it through Monday's high, and then you can see that if you keep drawing that trend line, we just bounced off this trend line, and are going back up towards 34.
Okay.
This may end up, this could get going. Thank you, Crow, for mentioning that.
There you go. CEP. Good stuff. Britt, good morning. Happy Tuesday. Mentioning QSG. That's not one that we've talked about here. Hey, Britt, finding the movers. Let's pop into the highs here. Did this happen on news? What happened in here? Nope. And this, not a whole lot of volume here yet on this name. This is up almost 12% here, though. QSG. And a possible move back towards 13, just to kind of follow along your trend line examples here. I would also do this. This would give us a target above 8.
Yeah, it looks like it could break out of there.
There you go. QSG. What was the other one Britt mentioned? And Atom. Do you mean Atom? ATOM? Must. That popping here too a little bit. Was this on news? This actually has earnings in a week. And this had news yesterday after hours. Atomera Incorporated announces a strategic marketing agreement with a global leader in chip fabrication technology aimed at accelerating the adoption of Atomera's silicon technology for next generation. Okay. This actually has a news catalyst here, plus 8% earnings in a week.
Thanks, Tommy, for the update. We got Jolts and Consumer Confidence at 10 a.m.
Yeah, sorry. Economic events here. Jolt's job openings at 10 a.m. Also Lutnick on CNBC at 2. Up and at them. Any of you that are Seinfeld fans, I know that was for you, producer.
TVGN under $1. Low from yesterday was 92.5 cents. No reason it couldn't go down there.
Hey, PayPal, whoever asked about this, PayPal doing a really good job. Came back here. Maybe this is starting to set up to turn around here. I like PayPal, but no position yet. That's actually one I'm looking to get into. All right, 13, I got to step away here for a sec. What chart do you want me to leave up while I'm gone?
What chart do you guys want me to leave up? I don't know.
We don't really have any big movers like we had the last couple of days. I guess Oh My Home was probably the biggest.
Yeah, just put whatever you want up there.
I don't want it to be whatever I want. I want it to be something decent. Let me put up HIMS.
Okay, go. Yeah, put up HIMS.
All right, BRB 1 sec. You're good.
Sounds good. All right. And in the meantime, looking around here, looking like CEP, this popped up to 329 and came back. 33.29 and came back into 33. So is that the move, or is there more to come here still? Crow. Plug bouncing off of this trend line that we drew. Nope, it just fell through it. Have to wait and see if we start closing beneath it. And it looks like this might be it for Plug. Would think that it comes down to 102, which was the low, or I'm sorry, 101, which was the low of the pre-market and the after hours. TVGN, that's under $1. Oh My Home, that's still looking. It went under VWAP. MACD starting to curl over. That might be done. Wolf also losing the 200 EMA on the 5-minute. It's just a sea of red today, folks, in the movers. Omex could not recapture VWAP, even though it traded above it briefly. HIMS hanging out at VWAP. WLDS trying to hold on to the 200 EMA. That's about all the ones we were looking at this morning. So far, CEP looking like it's providing some of the best movement out of the ones I just mentioned there. STFU is saying SoFi Knife. Smoke Tuna, you're mentioning OLB. You'd like to see it. Hey, bro, I'm sure. I'd love to see it go to 40. Let's see if we end up getting that. SAGT halted. Tesla making progress back to 285. I'll take a look at that real quick. Yeah, it's less than a couple bucks away. The way this price action is going, though, it doesn't seem very bullish to me. Let me see here. Yeah, that drop and then this recovery that it's trying to do, it really needs to get back above, in my opinion, 284, or else I think we're going to see the underside of 280. Hey, Mike, how you doing? And yeah, Gary Frost, HIMS, that leverage ETF, that's really it's really moving this morning, isn't it? Hello, Lynn Adams says Okta up 6%. And STFU Tesla, the news was Trump saying that he would ease the auto tariffs, and that happened right before the Tesla knife. And I would imagine STFU, the thought there is that the competition is back against Tesla because of those tariffs, right? Oh, it looks like we just got a big old knife in CEP. Plug trying to bounce again, but it's on the underside of that trend line, so don't know if that's going to recover. Still seeing lower prints in TVGN. Oh My Home, kind of sideways at the moment. Wolf lower, Omex sideways, HIM sideways. WLDS trying to move off of that 200 EMA. And LFMD is trying to recapture its VWAP. Right back to trying to recapture that VWAP, just as it was doing in the pre-market. That pesky VWAP. Tesla here, back up to that 284 area, just touched it. If it backs off here, be careful. And, okay, so I'm just going through what you were saying here, folks. Yep. Forex market wisdom. Pony slow, trot back up. I see what you did there. Wis mentioning ABVE. What is ABVE? Above food ingredients. It's above, certainly seems to be the case. It's above $1, which is a good sign. It didn't open that way. We opened at 91 cents, it looks like. Coming up to consolidation back from August 2024. Looks like 151 could be a big resistance area for ABVE. HIM's doing nice. Hey, Gary knows it. That's why HIMZ is doing pretty good. Tesla, we should see it crossing. We should be crossing 285 at exactly 10 a.m. You're looking for that move off the consumer confidence and JOLTS report? Let me know. SoFi also? Okay. What else do we have going on here? What's happening with all the movers we were looking at? Looks like some of these names are trying to recover, running into resistance. Some might be getting going here better than others. Looks like Omex is showing signs of life again, still trying to recapture that VWAP. Hey, Ryan.
It's not gone yet, huh?
Not gone yet.
Actually, really hasn't done much of anything here today after yesterday.
Nope.
How about Pony AI? We got asked about that earlier here.
We were getting asked about that. I have not looked at that yet.
Bounced back, but it's basically at where it closed yesterday. Nothing new here either. Apple continuing to print to the high. Remember, I had a story earlier about how Apple's expected to actually have better than expected earnings here today, and a pretty huge bounce in the market, it looks like.
And we haven't even had those reports yet.
I know, crazy. I thought everything was terrible and the world was ending, though. It's so strange to see this happening. We'll see if we can get back above that 592 area. That's your 10% pullback level from the highs. Tesla's rocketing. I am seeing Tesla calls. Actually, this is kind of a mixture. Some puts being bought here too. Tesla is up off those lows. This didn't move as much as it did yesterday, though. Yesterday's move was pretty incredible. And actually, there's a pretty good bounce back there too on Tesla. More Palantir calls here today.
Yeah, but for Tesla, this current 5-minute candle that it's in, I think it has to close above 284, or we're headed lower.
Tesla's roaring back here. Yassine, did you take calls on that one? Did you trade Tesla on this intraday move? Robert, great to see you again. Hopefully you are well, my man. How's the weather up in Door County right now? I bet it's pretty awesome. SoFi actually this gives us a pretty interesting trade here. 1450. We talked about that area being a key area earlier. It is clearly the high here. 1450 right now. SoFi trying to hang on right here at VWAP. This actually might be a decent ad spot here on SoFi.
OMAX still,
especially if it can hold.
It's above VWAP, trying to recapture that 65 EMA. It's continuing to run into that resistance that was created by the consolidation in the pre-market. From about 150 to 157. All right, so here we go with Tesla. This is what I was worried might happen. We had that move up. We did close above 284, but now we're coming back in. This was looking like a bear flag, so this may end up coming back into to 280.
Well, I tell you what, that Tesla was rejected at that 15 EMA on the 5 there. It went right through the VWAP, no trouble, but rejected at that EMA. Down we go. Bull is moving. Number of you are talking about Bull. That's going to be Weeble. So this was actually continuing its sell-off from yesterday. Boy, look at the move down on this. Holy moly. What did this IPO at again? Or we were down right in here. Is this back to its IPO price? Wow. Just a quick move up to 80 and a retrace of the entire thing. Yikes.
STFU, that trend line on the 1 minute, that's the whole that's the flag from the bear flag. We're losing that whole trend now. It's probably going to backtest that trend line. And my thought is once it does, it'll probably end up going lower. It needs to get back above that trend line, and if it's going to go higher. You also have this consolidation from let's see, 284.50 to 285.90. That it has to work its way through as well. Looks like WLDS is moving back up off of its 200 EMA, trying to recapture VWAP and the 65 EMA.
Okay, I have VWAP at 213 there, WLDS.
Yeah, when my broker opens, it readjusts it, so mine's much lower. Otherwise,
I gotcha. Okay, so yours is basically it's using just the daily candles. That's helpful to figure out why it's calculating it differently. Palantir's report on May 5th should be interesting. You know, I got no play for that right now, but you're right about. I want to say Palantir's got to come in at some point, but it just hasn't yet. SoFi, by the way, was just talking about that one. Yikes, that actually just lost 14 right there.
Ooh, that's not a good looking chart right now.
No, it isn't. Boy, things change really quickly there on SoFi. Out of my HIMS calls, grats to anyone that's booking HIMS here today. I don't think anyone's taking a loss on that. That was just a huge move.
Looks like 1380 is going to be your next support for SoFi, but even with a bounce, I don't know that you're going to necessarily see a recapture of 14. Might not even get a recapture of 1395. We'll have to see. So if we do go down to 1380, that's kind of the scenario I'd be looking at. It is pretty oversold on the 5-minute chart though, following this large drop.
Oh my home, back through the VWAP here again. Watch 3 and 315 here. OMH. Oh my home.
You got a trend line on that?
I had it on my other chart. Let me add it here real quick.
It's trying to break right now. Yep. Trying to break through that right now.
Okay, here it is. Oh my home. Do we get an upside move here or not? 283 your VWAP.
Big seller at $3.
What is the Tesla short ETF? TSLZ, right?
Tesla short TSL. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah, you're right.
There's a couple of them. This is the T-Rex 2X inverse. TSLQ, I believe, is another one. That's the Trader 2X short.
Okay. So SoFi, there's there's 1380. Just went beneath it. Trying to find some support here.
I'm watching Oh My Home still here. I think we're going for this 3 spot. Watch a pop above here. Oh My Home.
All right, come on, Patrick. Oh My Homes.
3. Can you imagine if this pops and goes anywhere near that pre-market high?
It certainly could. It certainly could. I also watch SoFi for a recapture of 1380.
All you need to do is ask Crow. He knows what those Tesla Q, TSLQ, TSLZ. Thank you, Rakesh. Looks like those two are going to be your primary ones.
CEP might go, but volume needs to be better than this. But it just bounced off VWAP, and it's moving quite nicely right now.
That's CEP, you said, right? Still
CEP.
waiting on Oh My Home here.
Yep. And we're about a minute away from the reports that we were just getting mentioned earlier. Thank you, folks in the chat.
Webull kind of stopped right there. More Hims calls getting bought, although that continues to come back in. SoFi maybe got some support there. 65 EMA on the 5. We'll see.
LFMD is still trying to get back above VWAP. This thing has just been sideways for a while now. And I think just keep an eye on LFMD, because if it does get back above VWAP, we could see another one of these pre-market runs that we were getting.
756, the spot there. 292, by the way, on Oh My Home has some size there. It's not huge, but it's some size, and it's the top end of the range of where a lot of volume was traded. Not breaking down through the VWAP, which is a really good sign. Let's see if it can take out 292 here. I think 3 is your next spot. Get in there, 13.
The reports are out. Jolt's job openings for March is 7.192 million versus the 7.49 million estimate. Print is lower. Consumer confidence is also lower, 86 versus 87.7 estimate. So both below expectations. And also, we may see a lot less activity and volume this week because there are a number of other countries with traders that are in this market. Watch OMH, by the way.
Got it.
That are going to be going on vacation. They have like a night. They have a labor holiday. I forget what some of the other ones in Japan and South Korea have, but the point is that there's going to be a lot less participation from foreign traders in these markets. So we may end up getting a lot of low volume movement throughout the week.
Oh, God, that was a nasty move there on Oh My Home. It went right up to 299, printed it, and then yanked back to the VWAP. This thing wants to go, but it's tough.
Great call, STFU, on that Tesla trade. You were waiting for the Jolts report and this consumer confidence. Look at what happened with Tesla.
S&P futures ticking up post that report. I don't know if it's on the back of the report, but it's certainly ticking up after. It looks like there was initially a pull when the report was released.
Yeah, I think it's got to be. This is we didn't get any real movement before then. Now we're getting a lot of it.
Smoke Tuna saying May 1 is an international holiday.
Labor holiday, right?
He just says international holiday. Not sure what kind.
I'm pretty sure it is, because it's over 50 countries that are going to be taking this holiday off. Look at that move in Tesla, right up to that trend line on your 1 minute chart there, on the back side of it now, STFU.
Pretty sure I'm using that. Oh, I see. Here you go. That is a nice move. Oh My Home, right back to 3. God, all I had to do was take it off the screen. I knew that was going to happen. Damn it. 3, going to be one of your first sell spots here. I wouldn't be surprised if they pop this. There are some sellers sitting there. We'll see if they hit them and how big they are. Oh My Home. 3 and 315, your next spots. Through 3, by the way, filled a little there.
Yep. 3, was it 312? 312, next resistance area. And then after that, 354, the pre-market high.
Yep, sir.
I was getting asked about a SMMT. Any info? Well, this is kind of running with the other GLP-1 stocks.
Well, sorry, which one?
Summit Therapeutics. Is that the same space?
No, it was Weight Watchers that was moving. Summit's got its own thing there.
Yeah, let me see here, because it's I mean, he's asking me about it, so I'm just taking a look here. We have earnings for this in 2 days. It's been getting some decent volume this morning. Let's see. I'm just trying to find a reason. I remember seeing this. I just don't remember exactly what this one does. Infectious diseases, antibiotics, orally administered, small molecule antibiotic. Heavily shorted. So that could be one potential thing. 21% of the float short with 5 days to cover. That's SMMT. Float almost 120 million. It's at 119 million shares in the float. They had a buy rating from Truist Financial yesterday. JPM also gave it a $40 price target. I don't know what it's moving on today. There's a lot of
earnings in 2 days on this one, though.
Yeah, I mentioned that. I don't see what else this is moving on today, but they did have some interesting news last week. So I don't know exactly why it's moving today, but it's looks like it's worth looking into for a trade because it seems to be on its way back up. Let me look at this chart here. That was a nasty pull a couple of days ago. I have to look and see what that was, but certainly could still go lower with this current formation that we have here. If it does, I'd be looking at $20 as support. All right, now
Tesla trying to break that pre-market high here. Also watch TSLL. That might give you a tradable opportunity if Tesla keeps going.
Yeah, it's coming up to the 200-day SMA. That's at 291.69 giggity, and we're looking for a move over that.
I just love how nonchalant you do it. By the way, OMH right back at 3. Come on, let's pop 315 this time. Do we have the gusto to do it? Who's in OMH? Who took this?
I tried it earlier. Made some change.
Yeah, I got lunch money on the first move, but I want this move above 315, and I'll be pretty happy.
Yeah,
come on.
I'm more interested in what CEP is doing. It's not looking too bad at all. I want to see this get over 34, but I don't want to press my luck either. Hey, no problem, NUCGB. I'm sorry I couldn't provide more for you.
Wiss is asking if dip and rips are making a comeback. That would be something.
Maybe.
Oh, my home back beneath 3 here. I still don't know if this is done yet. Have your stops out in case it is. Sorry, get in there.
LifeMD, that was the one I was talking about, how it needed to get back above VWAP. It has. It's starting to trade higher. We might see something similar to what we got in the pre-market here, where it ran up to 831.
Okay, oh, my home above 315. Out,
there we go.
Done. Can we please? Okay, so all I have to do is wait for 13 to start talking about some other stock, change it on the screen, and that sends the stock that I'm waiting on higher. Now that we figured out the code, we'll know how to exploit this. That's unbelievable. Every time I turned away from it, it went higher here. Done with this for right now.
Yeah, please don't use me as an indicator. You trade how you want to trade. That's fine. I'm just kidding. Yes,
it's just funny. It's every time, literally every time.
Yes, thank you, Jay Summers. That's what I was referring to. More than I said 50. More than 80 countries celebrate May 1st as Labor Day. There we go. And OMH is really starting to get volume now because I'm seeing some pretty good price action here.
It is
up to 330. Was that 330 exactly? Yes.
Yeah, I've got 330 exactly. Here's the knife. It took us right to beneath VWAP.
Okay, well, how about that, folks?
And actually, this is going to back test VWAP and the trend line there. And also, Smoke Tuna, now it might actually be done, right? I guess let's see. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's let the stock tell us there.
Yeah, HIMS, it
should drop to 2 now, says Robert. Robert, that would not surprise me at all. If that happens, that's going to be a money call.
HIM's back over VWAP, trying to move above some of this pre-market consolidation. I think this is another trend line we need to draw here because we are getting close to breaking it. Looks like if we start trading up towards 37.50-ish, that's about where the trend line is going to meet the price. This is on HIMS.
HIMS. You guys are saying that May 1st holiday is an International Workers' Day?
Yep.
Yeah, I don't. Looks like.
There we go with LFMD still pushing more.
relating it to commies. Oh my! So it looks like you were saying most of the world celebrates that. May Day is a big holiday in most countries, but not in the U.S. We make our own holidays around here, y'all. What are you looking at here? Oh, my home, by the way, back towards 3.
LFMD. That's still making some slow moves up, but it's going up regardless. Looking for a move over 8. Wow.
That's actually a really nice looking curl on the chart there. Honest to God.
Yep, and it looks
OMH becoming the Batman hat. Oh God, I love that.
OMEX, meanwhile, that's still having a hard time getting back above its VWAP, and it may lose this trend that we drew. Remember, if we lose that trend, then we're going to not want to try and force any trades on this thing, because it's probably going to go lower.
OMEX, this looks like this is kind of done here.
Yep, I think so too. But I always like to keep a little, maybe it could.
What Smoke Tuna, OMH was predicted by MCAI model weeks ago for a run. Give me some more information on that. How do we get access to that stuff early?
MCAI? What's MCAI?
I have no idea. That's what I'm asking him about.
Okay.
Union Day, workers' rights, kind of a lefty thing, but is based on the human working conditions. Yeah, it didn't sound bad. I know we don't celebrate it here. Today's the first day I'm hearing about that. Sorry for my ignorance. Apple at the highs.
All right, let's see here. So, Tesla is kind of hanging out in the 85 handle, isn't it? The 285 handle, I mean. That's not the kind of candle you want to see on that 5-minute chart there. Looks it could be a reversal candle. Gravestone Doji. So you're saying there's a chance, 13? Well, I always like to give something at least a 1% chance. I don't want to say, oh yeah, this thing's completely done. 100% it's done. We've seen too many times where it just ends up turning around. Volume starts to come piling in. And,
OMH.
And it just goes, yes. What's going on with OMH?
It's going back for its highs. Might be trying to set some new ones there. We have that initial one there, 330. That 315 level might still be viable here if it can go through it.
I mean, if it starts closing above 315, I'd be looking at the pre-market high 354 as another potential area of price action. So waiting for HIMS to finish curling up. It looks like it's trading above VWAP now. Well, at least my VWAP.
No, not in it. Good luck if you're in it.
Which one? OMH?
OMH, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just
all
trying
right
to
with it. They actually added a bid there at 310. Oh man, they might be trying to walk this higher here. OMH. Be interesting to watch that 310 bid if they pull this back and then sink it through it. There's 310. They're hitting it. It's real. They're going to take it all out.
Tesla really coming in now.
Oh, bouncing a little bit there.
Lost 285.
Costco near the highs. Saw some put flow in there. Chipotle, seeing some put flow in Chipotle as well.
See how Netflix is doing after it kind of had a pull yesterday. Well, you know what? That's wild. I thought we were going to end up with a red day yesterday in Netflix, but that's right, because the market ended up rallying toward the end of the day. Still, at the same time, I don't know that I'd be wanting to touch Netflix up here. Daily RSI is 7150. This thing is very extended. It needs to come back in. Congratulations to everybody that traded this and or took a trade from Liberation Day fallout.
Boom.
Yes, webcoin, exactly. Especially with a lot of things that we're seeing right now, don't chase or don't even say, oh well, maybe it could. Let's let these things set up. This has not been the greatest morning for stocks. Ooh, look at that move down in CEP. What are we doing with CEP, Crow? I'm not in this, but what's the plan here? Looks like OMAX is still trying to hold above that trend line, but the volume does not look great.
OMH still flirting with 315 there on OMH.
It's nice to see that hold up at least.
So that CEP did knife down to that VWAP here. Pretty nasty one. How's HIMS doing? HIMS trying to go through the VWAP to the upside. Topis is saying chasing is how I blew up my first account. Mine was buying OTC weed stocks thinking I was going to get a 15 bagger. I was so new to this entire thing. I was like, oh my God, I'm going to buy this 30-cent stock and be able to sell it for $10. Yeah, that didn't happen. Learned real quick that didn't happen. The second account I blew up was from chasing.
I've only had one super successful OTC stock that I invested in, not traded, but invested in. And it's still doing well. I don't own it anymore, but it's still doing well.
Nintendo?
Nintendo. That thing has been fantastic. And I think the last I saw it was over 20, which was massive. Yeah, it's over 20 still. This thing's just on a major hype train right now because of all the Switch 2 launches and just this thing is insane. I just don't want to own it anymore because I bought it originally for the dividend. It was much more attractive when it was literally half the price it is now. So I started picking it up under 11, but as it got to 17 and 18, I was selling out of it, and now I'm completely out. Fantastic company. Wish I could. Oh,
sorry.
Perfect,
sorry.
perfect,
I thought you were done.
Perfect tone. Perfect tone for it too, because that's from Nintendo as well.
I know. I'm just trying to get in there. Izzy saying 5 for 5 today might be done. Yeah, if you're 5 for 5, that's pretty good. Smoke Tuna says, Ryan, were you smoking?
High five.
So I have not smoking, vaping at that time, but that was a while ago. But no, gave up smoking a long time ago, and that is definitely for the better. And I feel better from that too.
Patrick Mahomes is still hanging out up here at above
310. Yep.
Just keep an eye on it if you're still trading at CEP. Man, that thing's showing some crazy lower shadows now. How rich would you be if you bought 10,000 shares of Nintendo in 1984? I don't even know that you could get shares in 1984. Maybe if it was on the exchange over in Japan. I don't know.
When huge reversal, guys.
Oh yeah, I don't know when we started getting listed on the exchange, but you'd be doing really well, James. You'd be doing really well.
Also, regarding the SPY here, we talked a lot about that 552 level. We are basically battling right now, right at that level. Remember, this comes from the 10% pullback level off the daily chart. This 552, 551.91 or whatever the exact number is, this clearly a battle spot.
And now that I'm thinking about it, James, I think you could even have waited until I'm trying to think of when it was, maybe 1990. I'm trying to think of when Pokemon came out, because when that happened, that's when it really started to get crazy. Because wasn't
that the Pokemon Go thing?
No, Pokemon Go is something they came out with much later, more recently.
Okay,
Pokemon's been around since the original Game Boy.
That's something I never got into. I never understood Pokemon. I still don't understand. What is a Pokemon and a Charizard or all these weird? What is it?
You can kind of equate them to like pets that battle with each other.
Pets that battle with each other?
Battle pets, yeah. So it's like
battle pets. Okay,
and they have different skills and they counter each other, and yeah, look at the money it made from their Pokemon app, TCG Pocket. I mean, it's crazy. Just that IP alone has made Nintendo a lot, and they continue to come out with other great IPs. I mean, like my favorite IP of all time that they came out with is Legend of Zelda. I absolutely love that.
Okay.
Franchise.
So look, this is what do I learn? What did I learn from this? Well, I learned that a Pokemon is a battle pet. But the other thing that I learned is don't sleep on stuff you don't understand. 200 million in the first 2 months worth of business. That's something.
Yeah. Boomer. That's what you're getting called now.
Not the first time I'd be called a boomer. I take no offense to that at all. That bounces off of me like I'm Superman.
I didn't get into Pokemon, but my youngest brother was. So he's got, like all those collections. It was also a trading card game too.
Yeah. Well, see, that's the thing. And like, I actually was a nerd. That's, I guess, why I'm surprised. Like, I was a nerd. I was a mathlete and an athlete. I love sports and I love nerdy things like No Friendos, Magic the Gathering, and other assorted games and stuff like that. But Pokemon was just never on the list. I actually still have my Magic cards.
Yeah, that's another.
Not that I'll use them again.
Another good point. That some of these cards, like this, particularly the Charizards, they're going for hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Yo, I saw a Cheeto that looked like some Pokemon character that sold for like a ton of money, and I was
unless Nintendo made that Cheeto, it's not worth anything.
Nintendo didn't make the Cheeto.
Oh, there you go.
I just can't believe that Charizard Cheeto. Yeah.
Well, hey, whatever somebody's willing to pay for it, I guess.
Real quick here, Mama Bear saying, Ryan, are you a Gen Xer, right? I'm a millennial, I believe, technically. I was born in 84.
Yeah. That's that cohort. We're pretty early into that generation, though.
Wisdom has a complex with me in tights, by the way. Some cards hold high value today. So it's actually funny. So obviously when I was a kid, I was into sports cards. I don't think I really had anything that was worth anything. At one point I collected X-Men cards, but then
I still have those.
Yeah, I still have those too. And then when I was a little bit older, I obviously started to play Magic, and I still have all of those cards. My buddy now, though, one of my buddies is actually pretty into sports card collecting, and it's crazy. Some of those cards, like you open up, it's like $500, $1,000 card. Like, it's wild, just absolutely wild. Card collecting is different than when I was a kid. LFMD, that might be done. Weight Watchers, ticker WW. This came back into the 15 EMA and the 5 and sat there. Oh My Home is doing a really good job holding 3. Definitely have your stops out for this in case it knifes, though. Don't get hit by this if it decides not to go later today. How about the rest of our movers? I don't think I have one here. Tesla continued to roll over.
So LFMD did get a pop above VWAP, and now it's trading back beneath it, going into that consolidation from the pre-market once again. You have WLDS that's trying to get back above its VWAP. It's been trying to do that all morning since it lost it. HIMS also sideways, looking for support at the 65 EMA if it loses the 34.50 area. OMEX, this is now trading beneath that trend line, so I'd be extra careful about even touching this. I think it could end up going lower. Wolf breaking down. It's about to looks like it's about to break lower if it loses 380. OMH, like you said, holding above VWAP, but even that doesn't look like it has a lot of strength left. TVGN also beneath the trend line and the VWAP, not able to recapture. And then Plug also beneath the trend line and the VWAP, not able to recapture quite yet.
Fairchild, Pokemon cards are one of the most stolen items at Dollar General. I'm surprised they don't have those locked away. I think even some of the stores that I would go into had some of the more expensive cards locked away, and that was before they some of the states in the United States allowed people to commit theft. So interesting. Jay Rice, Ryan, I still have a Lou Alcindor rookie card. That's pretty amazing. Do you have that thing graded and protected? Because that would be something else.
I don't know which producer just said that they used to love painting Warhammer figurines, but you just
that's Feehan.
You just elevated yourself.
Dude, at some point, we need to get me, you, and Feehan in the same room. I'm serious, because that would be a lot of fun. I feel like the jokes would be flowing. I feel like we'd have a great time.
Yeah, I'm down. No girls allowed except Amanda. I'm just kidding.
Oh. I don't even know if we've seen Amanda here today. My son is 11 and has $20,000 worth of football cards. So you want to, did I tell the story about my Ryan Sandberg autographed rookie card that my mom procured for me? Have I ever told that story?
I'm sorry, you're talking to me?
I'm talking to anybody. So my mom, as I said, I was born in 84. Back in the early 80s, Ryan Sandberg, not Ryan, but Ryan Sandberg, probably the top baseball player here in the city. They really liked the name, but they didn't want to do Ryan. So my parents, that is, compromised on Ryan, but reached out to him, sent him an old-fashioned letter to the ballpark. And he responded with a letter and a card that he autographed, which is amazing. Any of you that know Ryan Sandberg know how great that is. My mom took that card and pinned it to a bulletin board. So it's got a bunch of pinholes in it. Why? Very thoughtful by her, but unfortunately worth less because of the pinholes.
Takes it down.
Voodoo, good morning. Great to see you. Takes
it down from an A5.
I don't actually know the grades, so I'm not even sure. And by the way, Rakesh, good mention here for WW. This might be curling off that 15 EMA right back at the VWAP here. Oh my home, by the way, we might be trying to set some new highs here. 330 still the spot, 315 still a spot. OMH.
Just be a little bit careful with Weight Watchers, WW. This RSI is still kind of up there. It's at about 65 RSI on the 5-minute. But dang it, when this thing gets over 70, it gets super extended. It can knife like it just did about 30 minutes ago. All right, what's going on with these
dogs of the lore? My SPY 550 puts are killing it now. So I actually really like the trade right around 550 because you're basically playing, if we break down from the 552 level or we break out from that 552 level, that to me is going to be the big level here today. So whichever side of that you choose to play, good luck. That seems to be like the good spot. Here's what I'm talking about. Let's go to the SPY chart real fast. Here is what we're looking at. Look at this. With this level clear as day. Former support that we are trying to turn in, that is resistance now that we're trying to turn into new support, 50 right above it, 10% pullback level. I mean, this is what we're waiting on right now.
That's the level I was saying in happy hour. That's the level to watch tomorrow.
Yeah, no question.
550, that's been a big level in this price action that we've been experiencing in April here. And to the upside, it's been behaving pretty well because you have this 551.80 level, which is a previous all-time high, and then just above that you have 551.91, which is the 10% correction level. So that area of resistance also in play. For support, you have this level. You have 547 yesterday was interacted with quite a bit, so wouldn't surprise me to see the price get down there again today. You can even draw a trend line from the lows and see that we're kind of headed that direction. If we do continue to trade down, we're going to probably bounce close to 547. But we also have this 548.62 previous all-time high that could provide support on its way down there. Just a few things to watch for.
Okay, good stuff there. SoFi's rolling over here. Tell you what, this one, for those of you that trade SoFi often, what's the secret here? Where do we get follow through on one of these good events? I feel like SoFi has, it'll report something good and it'll trade up and then it just rolls it over and gives it away. When are we going to get some continuation on that on SoFi? What's the catalyst for that?
Rates.
Yeah, actually, that's probably a really good answer. Just kind of a general answer. By the way, Oh My Home, we did it. We did it. I wasn't in it for this one. I was all done with this prior, but Oh My Home, oh my God. Oh My Home going to, oh my God, 354, your pre-market high. We went right to 350 there.
Yep. There's a little bit of a wall of sellers there, but it's getting chewed up right now. See if we can break through it, take out 354, and then after that, I'd probably be finished with this.
Yeah, I might have been finished a little too early here. Again, I think the lesson that the market is teaching me this year is, although that we're some crazy volatility right now, and maybe what I should be doing with some of these smaller trades is just continuing to leave a trail around there. I don't know. We'll see. Hans YOLO lost so many rookie cards in my bike spokes as a kid. Why were you putting rookie cards in there? I mean, I did that a lot, but I put like Popeye Jones in there or some, card that I didn't think was going to be worth anything.
It's a
Take
flex.
care of yourself, Lion.
Take your line. That's a total. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but I think that's a flex. Like, yeah, I'm putting rookie cards in my spikes. What you got? Oh, you got this guy in here.
Did we know about flexing back in the day? I mean,
that's what it was, but we didn't call it that. We didn't call it that. We called it something else. I don't remember what. Oh man, Wolf with just an ugly day. TVGM dropped and it's just been sideways. This, it could come back later if it can recapture VWAP, but I wouldn't be touching it right now. Man, just a lot of boring movement here with some of these names. Really, the only thing that worked as very well was OMH, and that's not done yet.
Nope. By the way, Carr, I know Jay Rice, you had talked about Carr recently moving off.
Whoa!
What?
OMH just blasted off to 4.
Oh, okay. Well, see, again, all I had to do was take it off the screen. Look what happens. Anyway, Carr, I did see some call flow here, Jay, the 100 calls. Let me know what you think about that. That looks pretty interesting. I'll try to go back to OMH. I got distracted there.
Yeah, folks. I mean, you just got handed a gift right there. I don't know that I'd wait for Christmas to open it.
We got rid of Mariners and Blue Jays cards as they were brand new teams. But Crimp Biscuit, man, you had Ken Griffey Jr. and Alex Rodriguez and Edgar Martinez on those old Mariners. Oh my God. I mean, those were good players. So I don't have OMH through 4 STFU. I have the high print there, 398.
Yeah, I think we all have that.
Okay, he said it was through 4. Jay saying you remember those Sun Sunoco football stamps. I don't think so. I don't think I remember that.
My biggest mistake with any kind of card was I'm trying to think of what kind of card it was, but it was an Emmitt Smith card. And it had a photo. It was on a plaque, and he signed the photo. And I ended up, I liked this thing, but I didn't really have anywhere to put it. So at some point, I gave it to a friend as a birthday gift. Kind of wish I didn't do that. I mean, he's my favorite football player of all time.
It sounds like a good birthday gift, though.
I hope he still has it.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Oh, my home looks like 398. Your new spot. That's pulling off the highs.
Man.
STFU, that sounds like a conspiracy with your Griffey rookie cards. Sweetest swing I ever saw in my life, Ken Griffey Jr. And you know how many home run derbies we did because of that guy? I wore my hat backwards to all of them. I mean, that's just huge part of my childhood.
OMH pulling
Fidelity not letting me trade OMH. Oh, Daniel, you got to be frustrated on that one, don't you, boss?
Gosh. What's their reason? I mean, is it just they're trying to protect you? Because some brokers will try and do that. Now, OMH just came down and tested the pre-market high of 354. If this doesn't hold up as support, then the next area is going to be 330.
Keeping it up, giving you some levels here. 441, 495 as your next levels there for Oh My Home. If it gets above 4, how do I get that menu hidden? Oh my goodness. You click the wrong thing in Restream, you might be in big trouble. I don't see anything else great here. Those Tesla inverse ETFs lining up pretty good. Tesla's smoking the lows here. But aside from Oh My Home, is this kind of an uneventful day so far? For anyone else? Am I alone on that?
No, you're not. It has been pretty uneventful. It's just having one big major ripper. I get that we had some nice trades in Amazon and Tesla and whatnot, but as far as the movers go, they've been pretty much disappointing with the exception of OMH. Now,
and even Tesla, you had to be quick to trade Tesla here today. That really kind of turned around. I guess that is giving us the volatility that we need.
Yeah,
and then I guess the HIMS move, which I wasn't in. So that was a pretty. Oh, look at this. This is retraced an enormous. I'll tell you what. I had said earlier when we first took a look at that, I had said earlier, you definitely want to be peeling some of this. Hopefully you did. Hopefully you did, because him's coming back in. What was the high print in the pre-market on this? 42 and change. God, we're 9 points lower than that. Holy smokes. Got a Nolan Ryan, man. That's one of my favorite players of all time for obvious reasons.
So it is 9:33. Volume should be starting to leave the market as traders get up from their desks and talk about OMH. Sorry, go ahead.
Or talk about OMH or talk about Pokemon if you're our group here. Smoke Tuna here. Ryan says, look again, there are no 100% runners today. Smoke Tuna has been on this for a couple of days here. Sign of a weak volume market.
Volume has been garbage.
It does
so far.
Yeah, it does seem like the volume's kind of sticking to some of these bigger names here. But with summer coming, better weather coming, I can see maybe holding off until some of this stuff is done. We'll see what happens if we start getting trade deals. Will volume pick up, I'm guessing.
Let's see. When is PCE? Is that Wednesday or Thursday?
Let's see what we got on the docket here. Today's Tuesday, right? PCE, we have that tomorrow.
Yep.
We got GDP, PCE. I almost said PCP. That would have been terrible. GDP, PCE, Chicago PMI, pending home sales, Treasury refunding announcement, and gas and crude data all on the docket for tomorrow.
All right. There's two of the Fed's economic indicators. So we'll have to see what they say about it.
Robert, the first thing I sold on eBay was my Pokemon collection. Man, that takes me back. Well, hey, you know what? One of my best sales of something like fantasy related was I sold a Final Fantasy 11 account and a World of Warcraft account. Oh, man, those were the days back when those was not against the terms of service. Robert here saying today was not great. I agree. I didn't find anything great here today. The Oh My Home was cool. Wasn't huge, but it was something. Rest of this kind of mundane here.
Yeah. Probably just going to have to go back to the ETF trading like we've been doing for the past.
Yeah, you know weeks. What though? We're going to need. Has that even flashed a signal? I didn't trade this yesterday. Did you?
Oh, I traded it yesterday.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Really giving us a signal yesterday.
Yeah, sure did. TQQQ was the move yesterday. It looks like.
Both actually. I traded both because look at the we opened. We had a huge drop all the way almost a 10-point drop. That was when the SQQQ was really good, and then we got super extended away on the TQQQ. I was like, okay. I had both at one point, and I was green on both. But then I ended up getting rid of SQQQ when it started to turn around and turn back up, and I just held the TQQQ for the remainder of the day and sold at the end.
Here you go, TQQQ 53.27 versus a low point here of 51.72. Once again, $1.50 seems to be that magical range in there, and sure enough, it came roaring back. Morning, Amanda. There you go. There it is.
We were just talking about you with we were talking about Pokemon and Nintendo, and we wish you were here for that. That would have been a fun conversation.
Amanda, you'll be excited. Anne Marie is back.
All right.
Today. We're going to be doing that here in about 23 minutes.
Let's look at Bitcoin. How are we doing there today? Trying to get back over 95,000. It's been a bit of a tough area for the asset. 95,000. Look at all the attempts to hold above it in the past 24 hours. Only had one really successful run that took it up to 95, 3.5, but came right back in after that. She's got so many Pokemon. So she held on her collection.
That was a good call. CoreWeave, by the way.
Ooh.
Wonder how Adam Mesh from T3 is doing here today. CoreWeave, pretty good. I think he had what? I think this needed to stay under 46 before the next earnings. I have to ask him when he comes back here. CoreWeave popping here. This actually looks like it might be a breakout. CRWV.
I'm still keeping an eye on OMH to see if we end up getting a resolution higher. It's holding up. well, it's beneath that 354 area, but it's still holding up above 345. Just waiting to see if it's going to have another move. Let's see here. What else we got? I mean, everything else just does not look great. Oh, look, TVGM finally recaptured the VWAP. Let's see if it and a dollar. Let's see if it can get going here again. A lot of consolidation to work its way through.
Is Tesla bouncing again here, STFU? We bottomed out at that same spot there, 280. And it's about, we're 3.5 points already off that spot. Wild.
I'm just looking to see if there's some levels here. Well, let's see what I mean, I don't want to make any predictions with Tesla. I do see that the last two times it tried to get over 288, it was rejected. So I think 288 might be a good spot to keep an eye on for a breakout. There's like that, a lot of consolidation from the pre-market. Once we fell out of there, every attempt so far after that, losing that consolidation around 6:30 this morning, every attempt to get back over 288 has been rejected. So I think 288 is going to be a level to watch for with Tesla.
Robert here saying Pan W and strategy, Mr. MSTR, not bad here. MSTR breaking higher here. I think we're going on our way back to 400 there. Someone needs to put out an APB for Jay Diamond. I am officially worried about him now. He was in here every day asking about those inverse ETFs. And it didn't go that way. We got to make sure he's okay. We miss him. I'm going to miss him. Good old Ghostbusters quote right there for you. Also, you were mentioning Pan W here. Pan W, this actually looks like it's trying to break out here today.
So Amazon has news, says Izzy. Let's see.
Like
here.
more than we've already seen here from earlier.
Jeff Stein on X posts Amazon Fox now saying this was never under consideration for the main Amazon website. It says Amazon Hall has considered listing import price duties on certain products.
Oh, so we had fake news on that whole tariff thing. Oh my God. How about, can you imagine that somebody reported something that wasn't true?
That never happens.
What are we going to, oh my God. So maybe it was political after all. Gosh.
All right, keep an eye on OMH. It looks like it's trying to get some volume here.
Actually, OMH looks like it's trying to bounce from that pre-market high, which is also where we started that trend line. I'm going to be honest, 13, like every time I look at this and it looks like it's coming back into play here, I'm thinking like, should you go back for it? Because this is the one that works. But what's going to happen is that when I do that again, I'm going to get smoked on it.
Then stick to your rules.
Exactly, which is why I'm not trading it anymore. Thank you, by the way, for being a voice of reason there.
OMX, this is coming back up to its VWAP. MACD is also curling. I don't want to make a prediction that this is going to start to get going again, but don't be surprised if it does, because this is this is ridiculous. And I think someone mentioned earlier that if Trump tweets about any kind of deep sea exploration, this is going to probably end up going again. Or minerals or mining for that matter. It could run on that as well. Just kind of looking through here, everything else. Man, Wolf has been probably the worst one today. Just this absolute straight diagonal line down, like a very systematic sell-off here in Wolf.
Would you say that the situation is dire for Wolf? That is like the most uncomfortable fake laugh I've ever heard in my life. That was something else. That was something else right there. Oh my goodness. Pony AI, this is not really doing much of anything here earlier. Hey, Brits OSG. Okay, this came back. Oh, this is QSG. Did I look at OSG earlier? Did I screw that up? No, it was QSG earlier. It's just my brain is crushed. This came all the way back in.
Yeah, Robert, you got the good ones. Got the whole farm moving here. Pony, bull.
Is bull moving finally?
Probably down.
Yeah, just gave back that little pop that it had there. Pump. Oh no. This is not what we needed, folks. We did not need a ticker that is called pump.
Only if it can be met with one called dump. Then it can stay.
Now you've piqued my curiosity. I don't see one yet.
You typed it anyway.
Look, dude.
Your curiosity, man.
I was going to check that out. Pro Petro Holding. This is pump here. This is actually having a pretty decent day. Pro Petro Holding shares trading higher if the company reported Q1 adjusted EPS and revenue beat.
Pump it up.
That's Jason Raznick's favorite song. By the way, anyone see Jason Raznick sitting courtside supporting his Pistons? Shout out to Big J out there. Anyone see that? Should I pull it up?
It needs the dump inverse. Yeah, exactly. What if we just had an ETF named Pump and it was just full of these really junky names that just, ran on stupid stuff, and then dump is wherever they got moved to when they didn't perform well.
All right, here you go, folks. Jason Raznick. The Detroit Pistons got some Lions in the building. I was like, that's Jared Goff. Oh, but look at that. Benzinga, Detroit. That's Jason. Sitting right next to Jared Goff. That's pretty sweet. Jason out here courtside supporting the team here. Here's Nate Burleson. Look, there's Jason again with the Benzinga shirt. Love Jason wearing the Benzinga shirt courtside. Gotta love that. Gotta love that.
If he's going to wear a Benzinga shirt at courtside with, and so everybody can see it, have a QR code right beneath the Benzinga logo.
Yeah, do something. Yeah, that might be something. I'm long Pump and Powell. What you got?
That's a good one.
Oh, Jay.
Pump acquires dump in historic buyout. This is great, guys. Mullen, yes, exactly, Gary. Mullen and Hollow and Pump, absolutely.
No. Take me away from
and
Mullen.
MLGO. Put MLGO up in there as well.
Oh man, get me away from those stupid things.
Oh my God, you'd have so much trash in there that Waste Management WM it might even come calling.
I saw the guy with the Benzinga shirt live. Robert, you saw Jason live. He was probably doing something animated with his hands. He does love to do that. I got to get Jason on the show here.
Yeah, remember when I text you a news report at an airport, and it was Jason being interviewed?
Yeah. Yes, I do remember
that was
that.
Hilarious because I was like, wait a minute, what the heck?
I also remember my friend sending me a picture. I think it was Amon-Ra St. Brown jumping into the end zone after scoring a touchdown one of the games last season. And who's holding him up? It was Jason. It was good old Jason there. Jason has the best stories. Back in the day, Raz would come on and tell us, Mike, should I try to get him back here? How many people? Let me ask you, folks, use the chat right now. How many people want to see Jason Raznick have an appearance on the show here?
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, that dude can pick stocks too. Like, all jokes aside here, dude is a stock picker.
My favorite story was the whole Expo story that he did, and because it happened live when he was explaining it, and it started taking off, and I was like, I need to find more stocks like that where you have an idea, you have a theme, and you look for companies in that theme, and we do it all the time in Happy Hour now. But It was like one of the biggest motivating things to see all that happen off an idea that he had, and he was just some really good dot connecting, and it worked out really well for him. And I remember seeing that happen, and it blew Joel's and Dennis's,
Dennis. Yeah, I remember that was the
blew their minds. Thing. Yeah, X-Spot.
Yeah, he was literally talking about it as it started to run 200%, and he was like already positioned in it. I mean, oh my gosh.
That was hilarious. And impressive too. I will never forget that because I thought it was one of the coolest things I ever seen. That he was just talking about this idea he had,
and it just went.
And it rewarded him as he was talking about it.
Normally doesn't happen. YouTube poll up. Jason Raznick, Benzinga founder guest appearance. Yes, bring him on. Yes, we want Raz. Yes, yes, yes. Producer getting it done out here. Looks like several of you do want Raz to come on.
But he has to bring a ticker.
You think? Wait a sec. Did you think he was going to show up here with just one? Raz, let me say, there's something I've learned about Jason Raznick over the years. He's a very, very resourceful guy. He's a problem solver of like the most fundamental degree. He does not allow problems to persist. And I got a lot of respect for that. But he doesn't do anything once. So if it's a bag of chips, a slice of pizza, a stock ticker, there's not going to be just one. You can guarantee there's going to be more than that. I will try and work on this. I'll send him a text here after that. Producer, get those poll results. Make sure I get tagged in those poll results. I'll include that too. If you folks could throw some stuff here in the chat, I'll send that over to him too. We'll see if we can get him on for a guest appearance here, maybe on a Thursday.
Yeah, pile the pressure on, folks. Get them on here. Just looking around here at some of these movers, looks like OMH is trying to move off of the high that we made in the regular session before we had this pop up to 398. So trying to get some support there. Maybe this turns around. Wolf still making new lows. 350 is now the low. Omex, this is in recovery mode, it seems. We have a crossing on the MACD. This is back through VWAP. The only obstacle that it stands in the way right now is the 65 EMA on the 5-minute. And the consolidation from the pre-market. Other than that, we're in recovery mode here with this one. HIMS still going lower under the 65 EMA. Could find some support at the 200 EMA, which has a value of 31.22. We'll see if that happens. WLDS sideways all morning. Still looking for a recapture of VWAP, 65 EMA, all that fun stuff before it gets into the consolidation from the pre-market. LFMD, this still kind of staircasing down. You could draw a trend line from the highs.
So time out. I literally just tried to load up the stream so I could vote in this poll. And guess what? I got an ad. It hit me with an ad as soon as I joined. It was for HIMS. Huh. Literally, you were talking about it. I was trying to load it. HIMS ad popping up here on YouTube. Anyway, keep going.
Advertising must be well aware of the situation. LFMD, that's trying to go sideways, kind of hold above the 65 EMA. It's also currently beneath its VWAP.
Oh, I just saw it there too.
Which one?
LFMD. I literally just saw that tick up on the scanner right as you mentioned it.
So that's about what's going on with these movers right now. Not a lot of great stuff, but it looks like Oh My Home could be getting ready for its next move up here. Might try to go for 4 or more. See what we get. A large bid just showed up at 345 on OMH.
Jay Rice says, I hope Raz doesn't start dressing like Dennis Rodman. Yeah, I don't think he will. I also don't think his wife would allow that. So I don't think we have anything to worry about there.
I must be missing something because I don't know. I mean, you tell me why he would even think about doing that.
I believe he's got some Rodman stories. I think his kid, well, first of all, Rodman played for the Pistons, and I'm pretty sure Jason liked him back in the day. But also, I'm pretty sure his kid got a shoe or something at one of the games. I can't remember the exact story. I don't want to put out fake news, and I don't want to pretend, but I'm pretty sure that there's a Rodman story in there. And I think that's what Jay is referencing here. So that makes sense to me. Jay's also asking who the F was buying HIMS at 40 in the pre-market. Yeah, I don't know about that. I was telling people to sell, and I normally don't do that, but in the pre-market here, it was obvious as it gets. You should be selling into that rip. You should be selling into that rip.
SCFU saying CoreWeave is making a new flagpole.
Yeah, the interesting thing about that is that happened after we saw some of that unusual option activity. That was going to be right in here on the power candle higher. Now we're going higher here on CoreWeave.
Holy cow. Let's see where this ends up going. There's a potential area of resistance at looks like about $47. So you know, on April 10th and 14th, that's kind of where we opened up at right beneath 47. Looks like we tried to move over it and just got rejected and sold the entire day, I'd like 47. We'll see what happens.
Okay. Yeah. I'm looking. Yeah. I totally see it. Yeah. Cool.
I also like the MACD on the daily chart. That's a good indicator. That's telling it's more upside is ahead. Maybe there's an initial rejection at 47, but later on it goes through. That's kind of what I'd be looking at here. Let's see if we can close above 45 at least, because that would be outside of this area that we were just in, where it was getting rejected up at at 44 or 43. Now we're trading above all that. We want to see it close above all that to establish footing. Let's take a look at some of these other ones. Now, there goes CoreWeave, just absolutely ripping right now, all on its way up to 47.
Literally happened as we were talking about it too. That was wild. Pump continuing to go to the highs, new highs here on Pump. Good look at advanced decliners. So that's negative, but that actually is trying to go positive here, the advanced decliner line. That opened up negative, went positive once, rolled over once, now is trying to go positive again.
CEP getting some volume as well. It's not great, but it's causing some pretty good price action. It just moved up to VWAP.
I day trade at work while working on a CNC machine. Be careful. Don't hurt yourself with that. CNC machines can be dangerous.
That's got to be a lot of fun, though.
Yeah. I wish I could make stuff out of metal. I wish I had a blacksmithing skill, a milling skill, some skill or trade where I could create things out of metal. I would feel awesome about that. I don't know.
Get a grinder and a welder.
I was thinking about, making like a blast furnace, like the whole 9 yards. Like I was thinking about taking up blacksmithing.
He's saying it's mindless work. Blacksmithing. I mean, what do you intend to make? Because
I'm not actually going to become a blacksmith. But if I did, I'd be making axes and swords.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm down.
A broadsword. Yeah, we would have a real one on our hands. Let me tell you that much. Smita's
and call it the market maker.
What's that?
Make a broadsword and call it the market maker.
We could do that. We could do that. SMCI getting mentioned here by Smita. This reporting earnings here today. SMCI has actually done a pretty good job kind of holding on to 30. I don't know what to make of this. I guess the earning. This is not today. Smita, you sent me down a path to nowhere. This is unconfirmed for May. Is this actually today? Can't be.
Let's see here.
That wasn't on the list. I was going to say, did I miss something here with this? No, Smita, you sent me down the path to nowhere. Heck, I don't think it's today. Yeah, I want a Faluna Cutlery signature Claymore. See, now you're giving me ideas. That is not what I needed. That is not at all what I needed. You can design your own golf clubs. Don't even start with that, Jay. Now I'm in big trouble. Damn it.
SMCI looks like it's trying to recover following following the Liberation Day. The thing that needs to happen for me is getting above the 50-day SMA. That's the next area that it needs to recapture.
Okay. We'll see if we get that. Yeah, I don't think SMCI reports today. FinViz also estimates some of those, so it's possible those are off. The report's May 6th. The producer's out here. I love when the producer has power. It's just extremely helpful.
WLDS, one of the movers from this morning. Yep. Ugly knife. LFMD, this one might be turning up, trying to go to VWAP. Hasn't really done a whole lot today, but there is a trend you could draw here. See if it gets over that. OMEX kind of bouncing off the trend line that we drew earlier. Wolf is finally starting to curl.
VKTX, this is continuing to go. I wonder if HIMS buyers from earlier are rotating into VKTX. That also going to be on the semaglutide GLP-1 angle.
CEP trying to come back as well.
How's Lilly holding up here today? Lilly actually higher here.
I do like Honeywell. I've had that one for a while. Do like it.
Jay mentioning industrials are strong here. Let's take a quick look at the
sectors.
Market overview here.
So Honeywell had earnings.
Honeywell, yeah. So one of the strongest here. Pfizer and Merck also pretty strong. Looks like American Tower, AMT, also pretty strong.
That's interesting. They had earnings too. That's why.
Okay.
And they raised their guidance.
Okay. All right, 13. We got to get over to Anne Marie. She is back. Closing words for the group here.
Well, folks, kind of a slow day. Movers were really moving for us, but you know what? Tomorrow's a whole other day. Movers will be back. We'll trade them then. Have a good time with Anne Marie. Make sure to show her your love. She was away from us for too long. I'll see you tomorrow, folks. Have a good rest of your day. Bye-bye.
Well said, 13. 13's departure leaves room for the one and only Anne Marie. She's back. How are you doing, Anne Marie? How was the vacation?
This is the only party thing I could find.
Okay, I literally didn't find anything, so I just brought the energy. You look like you've got the party glasses, the party dress. You look ready to go. So we are glad. I'll just say this for the chat, for everybody else out here, we are extremely happy to have you back here. Welcome back.
I'm excited to be back. We had a lot of charts to talk through. So you want to drive the ship in terms of where we go?
Yeah, I would say let's absolutely do that here. Let me pull up the note list that I already had here for you. I think we can probably just start here. Let's start with Amazon. That was on the list. They've got news here. It's been a while. Then we'll take a look at some of the stocks that are reporting earnings this week.
All right. Sounds great. Okay. AMZN, and I will expand the chart. Here we go. It's almost right to my 87 target. And so if you see me look off to another screen, you know it's because I'm covering. Actually, let's go ahead and cover that so I can give you guys all my attention. All right, here we go. Uh-oh, waiting for data. Oh, heavens. Did I lose you?
Nope, I'm still here. Sorry, I wasn't mentioning anything. Wasn't saying anything there. Sorry.
Okay, advancers to decliners just went positive. And so that's something that tells us we could have some more upside. I expect a megaphone today. So when you get into those higher highs, maybe into yesterday's highs and just start breaking up over them, it'd be a good place to take some profit. I did use the implied hey, listen, I used ChatGPT to build me a think script yesterday.
How well does it work? That's awesome.
Amazing.
Is it one of the things we see here on this chart?
Yes, it is. It's this cloud sitting here. And so what I did was I went to the option chains to see what the traders are actually positioned in. And then I blew up the expected move frameworks to say what the day should be. So that's the reason I said, hey, listen, this 183 looks good, because from the opening morning tick, it gave me that framework that said, hey, listen, 183 should be the low end of the implied volatility range, which is why I took it. Then I up here at that 87 area, simply because it was that congestion level region right in that zone. So I thought I would take it. And so what we'll be doing together is incorporating more of these implied volatility moves as we put together our options trades.
Okay.
So if you're thinking about Amazon for the next few days, let's go to a daily chart and see what we've got going on. We've got an expiration at May 2nd for the end of the week. So if you want to go really quick time and you're watching the chart, that's something super important to consider. And if anybody is interested in the code that I just built, I gave all the credit to ChatGPT. So very happy to share it anywhere you might want to look at it. Now, super interesting. The volatility range from into the end of May 16 does show the price of 206 that you were talking about. If this price action holds here at the 183 zone, we could look at something that maybe begins at around that 190 to 195 level and goes up into the 206 zone very quickly into the trading space. So let me show you what I think an interesting trade would be. So they report, oh, I forgot.
2 days.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Let's do this, and we're going to use the outside ranges for the 16th. That's 173 and 206. So let's see if we can build ourselves a cheap to free butterfly and take it on both edges. Now, my thought is if this chart moves up, it's likely to reverse. And so if it pulls back, it's likely to bounce. And why is that? Because we've got employment numbers ahead. We've got guidance that's a little fuzzy. We've got all kinds of things that are a little bit sideways. So we can do two things, but I think both of them will be high probability trades. So here we are in the trade space. I don't know if you want to be all tricky and do it on the second, but if you do it on the second and you think the price action does nothing, if that's your gut, you think it does nothing, there's actually a butterfly here that requires $1,500 of risk. It only takes us from 185 to 190, but it's a $3.90 credit. Now, this is an unusual trade for me because I normally do butterflies that are no risk, right? But this one, because I believe the price action is going to expand and then contract, if you're a real gambler, then you can take a look at it. It just ticked up to a $4 credit. Now, here's what happens. Let's say the price action goes to 190 and it stalls out. What you end up making is the $3.90 you got as a credit plus the $5 that the chart moves up. So it's literally a free trade unless it goes to 190. Now, if it blows out past 194, then you're a little bit behind the money. Okay, so from that perspective, what it gives you is a shot at upside that reverses because we know the market is in a compressed environment with a lot of unknowns. We've got Jerome Powell next week. We've got all kinds of things going on, and we have the employment numbers on Friday. So let's change. Let's say we go, all right, I don't want to do the second. Let's do the 9th.
And that's next week's, right? So we still wouldn't be doing the monthly contract. We'd be looking at these weeklies.
Yeah, these are all weeklies, right? These are high-powered quick strike trades because two reasons. One, commodity technical advisors, those are the guys that trade with trend and basically follow trend motion. They are underperforming the SPX right now simply because the market is moving up and down in these very wide ranges and just blowing them out of their trades or putting them on the back foot. So we know that that's the backdrop. The second thing I mentioned already, I talked about all the stuff that we have going on, and there's just a lot of noise, right? Now, if you move it to May 9, you've got yourself a $4.30 credit. So now you have to creep into 195 to get yourself on the back foot, per se. So a lot of room there, but it's a butterfly for credit. If, for happenstance, you're very bullish on Amazon because you think, hey, listen, the chart's going to move up. We have it at the money at 185. So it's already worth $1.60 before the earnings come in. And 195 would be the target. 205 would be the end. That's a $2 debit. So the most you'll lose is $200 right there. The most you'll make is $800 because of the difference between 195 and 185. That's 10. You paid $2 for it, $800 upside, and a very limited and confined risk. So that's my thought there.
Okay.
On the call side, are you interested at looking at any put side formations?
Yeah, I kind of am. I was actually on Amazon. I'm interested in looking at both here.
Okay, so if we go 175 to 165 to 150, it's 96 cents on the downside. If you take them both, it's $3 of risk, so $300. If one of them goes all the way to target, you're going to have a max of $7 as your upside, and that looks like the trade for me.
Okay. That's actually not very expensive at all. That seems really affordable here for Amazon. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Next here, if we're all right to move on, we got Starbucks reporting today. So I'm wondering if Starbucks could give us a decent trade here.
All right. So what I love to do is make sure that I'm not doing anything mystical. I want to show people exactly how to build these formations.
Yeah.
And so if you go to your option chain, you're going to go all the way to the edge and you're going to see, well, I have it as part of my things that I like to look at. So I chose implied volatility. It converts the implied volatility into a dollar move. So that's $6.30. And interestingly, after a week later, it's got a 725 move. So you can see that the volatility is very high here compared to next week because we're sitting in the earnings. Okay, so let's take a look at a $7 move. So we're going to look at the price where it is right now. Let me take a look at this chart. I don't know that I remember what this one looks like.
We'll give it a sec to load here. I'll tell you what, that Amazon chart ended up loading pretty quickly. It's just a little bit of a snap. There we go. Yeah, we're all right here.
So,
your computers are right.
If we've got a $7 move, right? Let's choose, go to the open of the day, right? And so the open is 83.64, and we have a $7 move to the upside. So that's 90.64. We could make it maybe right around 90, right? For what the volatility is. And then again, because I can't remember anything, 83.64 less $7. What is that? 76?
Yep.
Okay, which is great. Now, what I like to do when I build the implied volatility and I put it on the chart, I want to make sure that I have candlesticks that are actually touching those edges. And so I can see a support edge at 90 right around here in September. And then I see a recovery right around here in December. Now, I don't know if you know this, but Starbucks has discontinued their Frappuccinos. So those of you that are looking for 165 carbohydrates in a single drink, you'll have to go to the Super Slurpee 7-Eleven instead.
Or Dunkin' Donuts.
Yeah, there you go. So they are they're really changing a lot of their things. I think they're trying to capture a completely different market. You know, we'll see what happens here. But what we can see is that there's something we can build here at 80 and at 90. Okay, so let's see what it looks like. If you're the type of person that says, you know, I just want to do an iron condor. I believe the market's sideways. You can go 90 to 95, just a little bit of time. You can go 80 to 75. Pretty nice credit, right? It's $1.90. So that's almost half the size of the spread. And it's sitting right at the area that all the traders are expecting this chart to compress to. So if you're looking for just the credit in a quick strike trade with a lot of, yes, there is 165 grams in a Frappuccino. So, sorry, I got some kind of monster bug out there in the South Seas. So here
yeah, I heard everything in Australia can kill you. So I'm hoping you're okay.
So anyways, here we are. That's what it looks like. If you're looking for the trade that says, you know, maybe I can get something kind of sweet from, from a long action perspective or short, but I want to trade long, you can go the 182 to 178. It's only $4 wide. And that's 56 cents.
Oh my.
Right? So that puts us right inside of the implied vol move. So let's say they don't quite have it right, and we could have ourselves a little bit of a leak, 56 cents. And if we do it on the call side, we want to go to maybe 188 to 92 to 96. So for $1, you can get a potential $4 move. So your target would be somewhere around $3, right? For your total profit, max profit. But it's a really nice way to say, hey, this is how I'm going to trade the upside according to the implied probability. No risk other than what it is that you're looking for in the overall chart. And there you have it.
Okay. Okay, love it. I would say we covered Amazon. I would say the other big earnings report this week is going to be Big Mama. That's of course Apple. So maybe we should take a look here. AAPL.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. So again, I always think that, you know, repetition is the mother of learning. And so we have 64% implied vol. That's $10 by May 2nd. And then by the following week, we've got only a $3 shift, right? So we're going to look at that $13 area. And here's how we go. We're going to go to the chart. We're going to look at the open today. So, you know, a lot of people go, oh my gosh, well, what if it moves far away? Da, 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 da. Doesn't matter. It's all ranges anyway. There are no exact motions because they're individual people trading their own ideas in the market all the time. So let me delete all of these drawings. Let's do it.
And real quick here, a couple of things to clean up while you're deleting those. Amanda wants to know, what are the Starbucks strikes? I'm sorry, I forgot those too. And also, it appears we awoken somebody with all of our talk about sugar and additives in there. We did some. Oh no, we've upset. Okay, just kidding.
Okay, let me get back to that Starbucks strike action for us. Spinning wheel. All right, SBUX. You know, you can always scrub backwards, folks. If you're missing the strikes, just choose the rewind button.
Yeah, and you know what, Anne-Marie? Normally what I do is when you're rolling through this, I take a screenshot, and that way if anyone asks, I'm able to answer it, and I blew it this time, so.
No worries. I will take that.
There we go. We got him, though. I got him.
Okay, got it. Okay, great. Let me do that also. All right. Done. All right. So now let's go back to the charts. We'll take a look at, what are we looking at? Apple?
AAPL.
Oh, APPL. Good grief. I have to tell you, my body clock, it is upside down and sideways, trying to get back.
I can't imagine. I can't imagine what goes into that.
It's bananas. Okay, so here we have the open 208. That's a very important line. Also, that's the range that we've had a lot of trading in that formation. So 208.69. We've got $13 to the upside. So what is that? 221, 222. Let's put that right there, somewhere around that zone. And then if we do it backwards, $13, what does that give us? Help me with that. 80, 90, some 190, 197, 200, something like that. 813, yeah. We'll say 200 because we're going to use the big round numbers.
Okay.
So we're going to use 200 and 221. Notice the 50 here. We've rejected the 50 fairly soundly in times past. And so that's going to be really, really important. I think these might be a little bit more expensive based on that, because 220 is what we want to look at. So maybe we see, let's see if they have 217.50, and then we'll choose 197.50. All right. Yes. 197.50. So let's do a butterfly here first. 187.50, $10 below that, and 177.50, 63 cents. Butterfly.
Love it.
217.50 to, let's go 222.50 to 227.50. Again, 65 cents and 62 cents. That's where it looks pretty good. I'd say it looks pretty good right there.
I like those flies too. Those are pretty cheap.
Yeah. So let's do, if for happenstance we want to do an iron condor. I don't know what's going to happen there. We might get a rate cut. If we go to the 9th, we can go. Yeah, I mean, it's still It's still 200 to 195, 230 to 235. I don't think it gets anywhere near that. I'm going to shift this one down.
You know what's funny about that 235 level? We actually got a new raised price target. Morgan Stanley maintained overweight and raised the price target exactly to 235 ahead of the print.
Interesting.
So that is interesting.
Yeah. So for the iron condor, you know, the best thing about an iron condor is time to decay. And so when we only have a few days, it's a little bit riskier, but you know, if you're getting almost half the size of the spread, I would say don't do it if, you know, you're getting 35 cents for it. But if you're getting $1.40, could easily do what it needs to do, which is spike and then return to the range. So that is my that's my thought on Apple. But hopefully, folks use this implied volatility. Remember, what you want to do is just choose the open of the day's candle if you're looking for several days in advance. If you're looking for a 0 DTE, you want to look at it from the opening tick of the price action event, like SPY or whatever. Those things start printing at 4 a.m. And so that might be something you want to look at.
Okay.
What's next?
Tom wants to take a look at Palantir. This was
Wonderful.
probably, if I recall, I'm just going off anecdotal memory here. I'm coming up with an anecdote off of memory, excuse me. Palantir was probably our best butterfly all of 2024.
Yeah,
I think.
Good butterfly.
Because so many people took it and it was just the price appreciation was so gigantic. I think everyone got paid on that. So let's go back to the well here, Palantir.
Absolutely. So what we can see, Palantir has a huge spike for next week. So is that when their earnings are?
Yeah, Monday.
Okay. So it's got almost 40% more implied volatility next week. So that's about a $20 move. So let's have a peek at where the open of the day was. And so let's get Palantir up. This is still Amazon right here. I'm not sure why it's not converting over. I can see this here. That's funny. This says Palantir.
Yeah, that's weird.
Says Palantir. Image says not Palantir. All right, so let's try it again. PLTR. Oh, there it goes.
Oh, look at that.
For heaven's sakes. Okay. So the open of today was 113. So $20 up is 123, right? I like that 125 area. I think it's old highs. I think it'll stop shy of there. So I'm going to move this back to 123. Let me make this 123. Okay, and then this one, what was the open here? 113, $20. What is that? 193? 93, yeah. So 93 is fine. So this is the range that they are building, and it's pretty wide, right? It's really pretty wide. 100 is a big fat round number. So if we're thinking downside, we'll choose the 100. We'll do the 100 put. If we're looking upside, we'll do the 120 call. That's my approximation of where it is I think that we sit. So, of course, that put is going to be cheaper because it's further away. Whoa, look at all this. 100. 93. So let's go to 90 and see how expensive this is. To 80. Not too bad. It's $1. Right? So we've got $1 for $1,000 move. So why, Anne-Marie, are you making this so wide? Why can't I use a 195 butterfly? Listen, 195 butterfly, not bad. And it's going to be way cheaper. So you're like, why don't I do that? Here's the thing. The second it starts blowing by 95, you give yourself no opportunity to collect, because it's going to completely start eroding your spread. If you give yourself 100 to 90, it's got a lot of room to run. It can move 10% in the wrong direction and you'll make money. If it moves 5% in the wrong direction, you're going to have a problem. So that would be the reason that you would end up spending more money there. Okay, so let's go to 120. I mean, the call side is going to be more expensive. I don't know why I said that. Okay, so 120 to 130, going to give us the same kind of room. 120 to 130. To 140, it's about $1.30 for $1,000 of gross upside. So you get about, $860 from a profit perspective right there. You can certainly do that. For me personally, I'm going to do a back ratio. This is the trade I want to do. I'm going to do the 125. Here we go. The 130 back ratio. And if I do the back ratio, I'm going to make $2.50 on a credit. If it goes to 125, as long as it doesn't breach 130, I'm going to make the $5 from the move up plus the $2.50 I collected. Now, if the price action does nothing, I still make my $2.50. If it does a bunch, I can make up to, $7.50 or so.
Okay. Really good stuff. Emery, it's so good to have you back. There you go, Tom. There's Palantir for you. So good to have you back. Remember, no show on Friday as I am taking a vacation, a much earned one, by the way. We'll be back here on Tuesday next week. All right, Emery?
May 9th. Yes. Somebody asked what the expiry was. I said May 9th.
Okay. May 9th. All right.
Yes. Enjoy the time.
Thank you so much. That is Anne-Marie Bands. She's spectacular, and we're glad to have her back. That is for sure. Folks, I'm going to send you over to Paul Meeks right now for Tech Tune-Up. Stay green, stay safe.